So, cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you very much for coming here.
Mate.
It's an honor to have you. Just for the record, let's show people that the bottle started on half already.
Yeah.
We didn't drink half before we came here. It was already brought like this.
But it's a good stuff. Come from an expert, and I'm a fucking expert in limoncello because I started drinking limoncello in 2007 in Italy. It was quite a crazy trip. It was with the university, with the European Volleyball Championship. Our female team was national champion, so we went there. And it was the first time that I tried limoncello. It was in Italy, in Camerino, and it was quite an experience.
Right at the source. Usually, if you try the first time something that is very good, and you raise the expectations, and then all the others in your life are shit.
Yeah, but trust me, your recipe is quite good.
Thank you. I'm still learning, and I hope it's good. Well, let's try. Anyway, we've known for what, 10 years, or at least probably like
10 years, because like I stopped doing judo because of my injury, and because I was a little bit tired being a coach. I stopped like 4 years ago. So you were my student for probably 2-3 years.
Yes, and I think I was still during my graduate. So my graduate, I was 20, 21. I'm 30 now, so it was probably like 10 years, easily.
You were doing your degree or your master's when you were my student? I think you were doing your master's.
It was already in my master's, maybe.
Yeah, it was your master's. Yeah, you were doing the master's.
Oh yes, I was, because I was no longer a student here.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I think it was the first year of your master's that you are enrolled in judo.
Yes. Okay, then I was like 22, 23. But it's amazing to me how we've kind of known each other, even if it's just superficially for so long. And you're still quite a mystery to me. Because I've known you from so many contexts. I've met you first as my judo professor. I've seen you do photography. I've seen you have a formal training in education. I see you doing in events worldwide, managing content. So I don't really understand.
And your father was in when I was doing defending my thesis in education. Your father was in the jury.
Wow.
Yeah.
Another coincidence. So you also have a PhD in education?
No. I have no PhD. Defense of my thesis, my degree thesis.
And undergraduate?
Yeah. Doing the defense of my. Yeah.
That's something we don't do anymore.
No.
No. Nowadays there's nothing of that. You do the 3 years, and that's it. You do the last credit. There's no defense. There's nothing.
No,
you don't know.
No, I didn't know. I work in the university and I didn't know that. Back in the day, you do the 5 years. The last year you go to the field to work in an institution, and then you write a report, and then you have to defend the report.
Oh, but that was when the graduations were 5 years.
Yeah.
But I think that since they changed it to 3 years after Bologna, you do the 3 years like high school.
Yeah, and then you don't need to...
No, and then if you want, you go to masters, and then at the end of the masters...
that you do that.
Yes, but if you just do the 3 years, it's like high school. At least that's what I felt like. It really felt like high school. 2 tests each period, just regular evaluation, assessment. It was pretty smooth transition.
Damn, I thought that you have to write, the report, go to institution.
Goodness. But anyway, this was to say that you do so many. I never really understood you as a person, or what you do, or what you value. So do you want to talk a bit about your training, your life path, or do you want to remain a mysterious badass?
No, I'm not a mystery. You can go to Instagram or Facebook, and I even have my profiles open so everybody can see who I am, supposedly.
Yeah, because Facebook shows what you are, right?
Facebook shows a part of you, some part that you want to show. Other part I choose to only show to the people that are really close to me. But that's another story. So basically, for people to understand who I am, I was born in Aveiro because my father was in the military. So I was in Aveiro for 2 years. After 2 years, my father went to the reserve. So we went back to Montalegre, and I stayed in Montalegre till I was 15 years old. When I was 15 years old, I wanted to pursue informatics, computers. So I came to Braga to Carlos Amarante School. I was in informatics, and I lost 1 year before coming into the university. That year was decisive, so I decided to change course. Instead of going to informatics, I tried to go to engineering mechanics. There was also a restructuration in education in Portugal, so everything changed. I didn't get to enter into university into mechanics. I went into physics. I didn't like it.
From informatics to mechanics to physics.
Because I was physics because it was like all of the places in mechanic, they were filled. So my final note was not enough to enter into engineering mechanics. So the second option was physics. So I went into physics as a second option. So I was 1 year studying in physics in Guimarães. I didn't like it, so I decided to change completely.
No girls in Guimarães,
no
only
girls
guys.
In Guimarães, because back in the day, when you went into engineers, it was all guys, all dicks.
Yeah.
So basically, when you see a girl in Guimarães, it was like a fucking unicorn. It's like, oh, who's that girl? And then you had like 20 dogs to one bone. So
I had a few friends that study in Guimarães. They all said that like they would come to visit me, hang out here in Braga, and they were like, "Oh my God, look, it's a girl on the street."
Yeah, it was like
Guimarães, really desperate.
But Guimarães, it was really fun to be there because it was like the campus is, in my opinion, is beautiful than the campus in Gualtar. You have more green, and then you have a lot of guys that you can talk and hang around back in the day, and it was basically sometimes university. In the bars, it looked like a fucking casino, because all of the guys were playing cards, money, and stuff like that. And I knew some friends of mine that they went into the university at 9 o'clock in the morning, and then when they left at 5 o'clock, they didn't went into any class. They were just playing cards, in money,
Yeah.
Not high rollers, but spending some really money back in
money
in
from the parents, maybe.
Probably from the parents, others work, have some side jobs, and they
But that has happened throughout the entire history of human school, I think. I think that's always been the case. Like, it's never going to change.
Yeah, but
yeah, so you were studying there?
So after 1 year, I decided, no, I have to change this. So I went into education because I was also, before choosing informatics, was also good in humanistic studies. So I decided to change degree. And I was thinking about psychology, but a good friend of mine told me, forget it, I can help you change degree, but I cannot help you go into psychology, because back then psychology was the degree in the university with the highest ranking.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I thought it was like, don't go into psychology because you're not going to get a job, because it's kind of what happens nowadays.
But back in the time, we're talking about 1996.
Okay.
Back in the day, the degree with the students that had better grades or psychology. The last guy to enter psychology in 96, it had an average of 75%.
It was in percentage, because now it's from 0 to 20.
Yeah, but then it was in percentage. It was 75%. This changed through the years, and then when we got to medicine in the university, so medicine is always with the highest grade, But back in the day, it was psychology.
Okay,
but it was like this. We're talking an era when everything was different, If you want to go to engineering, some of the engineerings, the last guy to enter in the engineering had like 35%, 32%.
Which today will be, that's negative. Today is like a 7?
Like 7, because it was different. When the education system in Portugal changed, back in the 90s, you do the 12th grade, and then you have to do the specifics. And the specific was you can do the 12th grade, and you don't need the specifics to have the complete grade. Now you have to do the national exam, and only if you pass the national exam, you have the 12th grade complete. Back then, no, you finished the 12th grade, and that was it. So the specifics, the
exams of the specialty,
right? The exams, they were really, really hard. So basically, you have a lot of guys that will do the exam, and they have like 5%, 10%. So the engineering, a lot of the engineers, the last guy to enter in the degree was like 25, 30, 35, 40. Only a few engineering degrees that the last student was like 50 or 55. It was like civil engineering or other stuff
But
like that.
was that hard, or was it any engineering degree was like a given you're gonna get in because it's negative grades?
No, because it's like this. You could get. Imagine this. When I did my first exam, because back it was completely different. It was like this. When I first did my 12th grade, I did the specific exams to enter the university, but I failed in one discipline. And in the physics exam, my grade was 15%.
15.
Yeah, 15. 5%. And I was a good student in physics. I finished my 12th grade in physics with a degree from 0 to 20 with 15. Okay.
Let's put this into perspective. You got 15% out of 100%.
100%.
Which is like, by today's standards, it's complete shit.
Yeah, it's complete shit.
But in relative terms, what was the average of your classmates, at least? Like, were you considered a good grade, or was it? In terms of your class?
In terms like this, that year, the average result in the national exam of physics, I think it was 10 or 15%.
Holy
nationwide.
Fuck.
Yeah, because it was unbelievable.
Holy fuck!
Yes,
10% average.
Yes, it was completely different. It's like mathematical analysis, right?
Yeah.
It's that's really difficult. And when you go to the back in the day, you fix the grades in the board, right? And you go to the board to see the results of analysis. It was like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5%. It was like this.
It must have been so demoralizing when you sit on the chair to do the exams. You already know that you're going to fail almost 90% of the exam. So you're doing the exercise and you're like, I don't know, skip. I don't know, skip. I don't know.
For you to understand, when I did in the first year that I did the physics exam to try to get into the university, that I got 15% in 0 to 100, I was only able to do one of the exercises from the test. The other year, everything changed, so you need to get a positive result in the test so you can have the 12th grade passed. Everything changed. I didn't went to classes. I just studied like for 1 month before the exam, and I went to do the exam and I got 45%. Okay. I went from 15 to 45.
But then they changed the tests. Yeah.
They changed the test, and I didn't get to 60% because when I was doing the exam, I blocked in one exercise, and when I came out, I was like, shit, it was like this, and I was like, fuck. And it was like this. Things changed.
Yeah, but I think it makes sense because that's what I was describing. If the exam is so hard that you are going to fail in almost all exercises, you must feel like shit when you're doing it.
No, because everybody is failing.
But still, what's your commitment or your enthusiasm to go and study to an exam that you know that is going to be so hard that you're not going to be able to do most of it, no matter how you study?
In my opinion, it was like this. I don't mind if I fail because everybody is going to fail. You understand? So I'm going to, what's the purpose of the exam? Is to find a way to see if you are able to get into the university or not, into that specific degree. If all of the guys that are going to go to that degree also fail like me because the exam was fucking hard, you know that you are in the same position to get in as the other guy on the other side.
Yeah, in relative terms, that's true.
See, because in the next year, okay, the grades all got up, and the same guys was also getting up. So it's basically around the same spot.
It's a question of scale. So you are trying, the goal is to filter people and to establish a ranking. But if the ranking on which or the range of the rank in which you place people is just between 0 and 20%, if it's a genius, you're not using the full from 0 to 100% scope. So if a test puts people in the several dozens and not just those 10%, then I think it might do a better job at filtering people.
Yeah, it's like this. In the end of the day, both systems used to work. people get into university, other people don't get. But
yeah. So in the end, you went to physics.
So I went to physics, and then the other year I decided to change to education. So I came to education in university, and it took me, I think it was 7 years to have the degree in education.
To do the 5 years.
Let's
put this in context, because people now hear 7 and they think of 3-year degrees, but it's
no, back in the day it was
5.
So I lost 2 years, but it was no lost years, because everything in life has a purpose. Okay, and those 2 lost years, made me see other things and put me in a place that when an opportunity opened, I was there to grab it, because imagine this. After finishing my degree, I stayed and worked in the university. If I did my degree in 5 years, that opportunity would not be available back then,
Right. Because it will only come 2 years later.
Yes, because I was when I started working in university, I was in the right time at the right place. Okay, I got lucky because the communication project inside the social services of the University of Minho was starting at that precise moment that I was coming out of the degree. If I was there 1 year before, like there was another guy doing the last year of the degree in the sports division, and he didn't stay there because there was no place available. So when I finished my degree, the opening was open, so I was in the right place at the right time.
Super timing. So that's to say that the time that you spent playing cards instead of going to classes was worth it.
And going out at night and scoring chicks, so it was no lost time.
Scoring chicks is never lost time anyway.
No, never lost time. Even when it's like my fiance, she's always teasing me and talking about my first relationship that was in education. And I dated a girl for 3.5 years, and I used to say to my judo students, I don't know if you remember this part, but I always used to say this, you don't need to be ashamed of being in Portuguese we call it pau mandado, when the girl bosses you,
obedient guy,
when the girl bosses you around, because I was for 3.5 years bossed around by a girl, but that was a really good learning experience, because I never allowed that mistake to happen in other relationships. So that helped me establish boundaries to other relationships, that they were really good relationships. Not that 3.5 years was not a good relationship, it was, but I was not mature enough to establish boundaries, and boundaries are fundamental in any relationship. It doesn't mean it is personal or professional, boundaries are important.
Yes, I feel that people are afraid of the discussion because establishing a boundary usually involves a fight, saying no.
Or a negotiation.
Or negotiation, which in any way is a fight in the sense that it's a confrontation.
Yeah.
Not aggressive, you don't have to scream, but in terms of human interaction, it's something unpleasant. And that's something people run away from. But it's the case of it's the case in which if you don't address the issues immediately, then they just accumulate. Yeah. And they translate into other aspects, and over the years they accumulate.
And that's what happened in my relationship, because after a while, I was I need my time, I need my space, I need to do this, I need to do that. And she was not willing to give me those things.
Like, okay, text you, come home, it's time.
And it was like, it got to a point that I was like, bam, I exploded.
Yeah.
And I threw the relationship out of the window. And she was like, why are you doing this? And it was time. It was better for us.
Yeah, it's great in this case that you had the maturity at least to acknowledge that, and to acknowledge that situation did not work for you. Mm-hmm. And not everyone does that. And people usually, they have like the Stockholm syndrome, that they become happy with their captivators.
With their captives. No, but that was not the case. So, continuing. So I was in education. I finished my degree in education. I was also in the Students' Union. And I did the last year of my degree here in the sports service of the university. I did, how do you say it in English? I did a sex assessment of in the human resources about who was doing what in the sports division of the university. Okay, who was the boss? What are his tasks? Who was the underboss and what his task? And like that.
It's a mapping,
Yes,
of
a
functions.
mapping. So I was also in the student union, so I was going out across the country with the teams, with the football, handball, stuff like that, and I was showing up. I was showing to the people in the sports division that I had skills and capabilities of leadership and taking care of business. So when I finished my degree and the communication project was starting up, they invite me to stay in the communication project because I also had the skill to write and take some photos, really lousy photos.
So you were already
at the
taking
time.
photos back then.
Yes, but I started. It was like this. This was like in 2004, and you had the university championships in the city of Guarda, and I went there with the teams, to take care of the logistics and also to write the news about the results. So I took a Sony camera, a Mavic, those old ones.
I don't know,
to
man.
take,
I was too young.
to take the photos of the teams, and I start, taking photos, and I start enjoying. So I decided to buy a new camera, and then I started taking the photography business a little bit more serious. So the communication project at university, at the sports service, start growing. I start photographing, writing even more. In 2006, I was invited by the SC Braga, the team from our city, to work. To work for
Sporting Clube de Braga.
Sporting Clube de Braga for the volleyball department. So for 5 or 6 years, I was doing all the press releases and doing all the photographies for the female team, volleyball team.
So they hired you through photography, and then by photography you accumulated the social media tasks of communication.
Back then it was not social media. I'm going to explain you. And it was not hired. I was working pro bono because it's like this. In football you have a lot of money. In the other sports you don't have money. So basically these was girls that were studying university, and they were playing basically free,
For free.
Yeah, basically for free. They were in the first division, national division. They were playing for free, basically.
So they were from students that study at University Minho, and then
they were playing for Braga,
as their hobby. They were playing competitively
kind
in
of
the
hobby. They were
championship.
like professionals, but earning zero.
Yeah, but if you earn zero, by definition, you are not a professional. It's just a hobby.
Yeah,
even
but
if
you
it's
were
like
playing,
the national competition.
Yeah, but you were playing against professionals. Some teams, they had professional players. So basically for 5 years, back then you didn't have Facebook or Instagram or stuff like that. So basically every time the team went to play, I was with the team taking photographs and doing the report. Then I sent to all the media outlets in the region.
Right. The newspapers.
Yeah, newspapers. And this was important. Why? Because in the end of the year, I do all the clipping, and I did a portfolio with all of the news. So that way, our coach, when at the end of the year we went to the companies to ask for sponsors, stuff like that, and we can show them, here we have all of these media that went in Correio do Minho, Jornal de Notícias, all the newspapers, with photos, with all the sponsorship. I did this for 5 or 6 years, buying the newspapers, doing all of this.
Cutting, making a folder by hand.
I still have those at home, and it was fun to do it, and helped me a lot in improving my photography skills. Because if you are able to correctly photograph volleyball, you can photograph any sport.
So it's basically the specifics of sports photography, maybe trying to capture the good moment when the athlete hits the ball or something.
Yeah, stuff like that. And then volleyball is very demanding. The timing, the positions, everything. And then when you have lousy sports halls like you have here in Portugal in some teams, and you need clear, good backgrounds, that can be really challenging for you.
Yeah.
So after that, I also was invited to work in a nightclub, photographing at night.
Photographing?
Yeah, it was photographing. It was for 9 years, and it was a really, really great experience.
Really?
But this was paid. Okay.
I'm surprised you lasted 9 years, because these kind of jobs at night in nightclubs are usually very, very demanding.
They are demanding. Trust me. I was working at university from 9 to 6. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then imagine this Friday you were working at university from 9 to 6. Then you go out, then you go home, you get ready, you have dinner, and then you go to the nightclub and you work till 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. And then on the Sunday you have volleyball. I did this during 2 years. I was working at a nightclub and I was also working pro bono for volleyball. So sometimes I was coming out of the nightclub, taking a shower, sleeping like 1 or 2 hours, getting into a van and going into a sports hall with the girls.
Wow, how can you last 2 years doing this? Because
it
collapses.
It was quite demanding. It was quite demanding, and then it was a time that I went into the volleyball, and I said, "Okay, guys, it was really a good ride. It was 6 amazing years,
yes,
but it's time to stop. I'm not feeling the vibe anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's really demanding. I'm not earning anything, and they pay me well at the nightclub, so I still continue at the nightclub working at.
And
the
then
nightclub.
because you focus exclusively on photography of nightclub.
Yeah.
But you even now you
outside university, because
outside university,
my main work was university.
in terms of photography, because now you are still very much fancy into sports photography.
Yeah, I work since 2015 for International Sports Federation, for the Modern Pentathlon Federation, and that allowed me to enter two Olympic Games in Rio and now into Tokyo. And those are quite some crazy experiences.
Yeah, it's one of those things that if you do them, you probably remember that for the whole life.
Yeah, it's like this. When you are a sports photography, the thing that you drive, that you are aiming to achieve, is to go to an Olympic. So for me in 2016, one of those things that I took out of the bucket list, what was that? Now I'm still missing one thing. It's like to shoot on Winter Olympic Games.
Okay. You have a checklist of things to do?
It's not kind of a checklist, but I think when I see the work of other guys, and I see, damn, I would like to do that. Sometimes, people, sometimes a lot of guys want to do like football World Cups and shit like that. I'm really not into photographing football. I don't really enjoy myself photographing soccer, football, because those guys are basically a bunch of pussies, most of those guys. And in terms of plastic, plasticity, in really great photos, football, in my opinion, doesn't give you great photos. If you go to handball, basketball, you have a lot of expressions, emotional moments. Football, not so much.
Is it
in my
because
opinion.
the field is smaller and you have more jumps or more acrobatics?
No, it's like you have more contact. Like it's handball. Handball is an amazing photograph to shoot, and it's really easy. Basically, you put yourself behind the goal,
mm-hmm.
and you just let those huge animals, like 192 meters tall, 100 kilograms, like bouncing into each other, like bam, with all of those hands in the faces and shit like that. And you look at the photos and see, oh shit, this guy was like all over the other guy, and you see the hand and you see the expression. In football, you don't have this.
Yeah, because you have this moment of like when they throw, it's like intense rage, maximum power. Like
in volleyball, you also get that. In basketball, you also get that. In football, not so much, In
football, you get the rolling on the floor, like, it hurts me.
It's like, but a funny thing is that one of my favorite photos ever is from football, but it's not about football.
Photo that you have taken? Or?
No. From another guy.
Okay.
This guy's from. This guy, I cannot remember his name, the photographer, but this was a little bit, please. But this was one of the most recognized photographs in the history of football. It's basically what's the name of the guy? He has a drinking problem. He was one of the... he was to play for Lazio.
I have no idea. A player?
Yeah, a player.
For Lazio?
Yeah, he was British.
In which decade?
This was back in the 80s.
Oh, I have no idea.
Gascoigne.
Okay, that's good.
Gascoigne, and it was like this. He was supposed to be the next big thing for England, and with that guy that also did movies in Hollywood, and Vinnie Jones. He was one of the most vile guys playing in the Premier League. He was a defender, really a bad guy. I think he still owns the record for the fastest red card in the Premier League. Yeah. He was like a fucking animal, you know.
What a beast.
Yes. So basically, Gascoigne had this aura of this very talented guy, but bad guy, you know, pushing the other buttons of the other guys. But Vinnie Jones, he was taking no shit from him. So this is basically a photo where you have like Vinnie Jones. Vinnie Jones is like about what, 6'2", is like 1m90. This really badass guy. So you have like Vinnie Jones in front, and then you have Gascoigne in the back, and you have like Vinnie Jones grabbing the balls of Gascoigne like this, and you have Gascoigne like, oh, but literally like this. You have them grabbing, and the other guy's like
grabbing the ball with full hands.
Yeah.
You
have this on the photo, and it's like
incredible.
And this is part of the game. This shows a lot of the game about those two players, and
yes.
this was also a really important moment for me in terms of learning, because a lot of the action in sport is not about who has the ball or who scores the goals. It's also about what is happening in the sidelines, the other things that many people don't see, and that is really important to tell a story. You know,
it seems to me
a rivalry.
It seems to me that you're really valuing the genuinity of the pictures, like trying to capture the moment as it is.
The emotion, you know, behind is like this. You can get so much on the sidelines. Like one of the things that I really enjoy in photographing modern pentathlon is the finish line, and it's not about who wins. It's about the expressions that they have when they fall down after crossing the line. They you know, in modern pentathlon, you have a crew of people that are after the finish line to take out the athletes from the floor because they tumble down.
Like they are dead, like carrying the corpse.
They are completely dead. You know,
shit.
they are like, some guys are almost throwing up and stuff like that. Some guys faint because it's very demanding sport. It's like you spend the entire day, you start doing swimming, then you do fencing, then you do riding, and then you run and you shoot. So it's really demanding.
How many hours is this?
Usually the swimming starts at around 10 o'clock in the morning, 9:30, 10 o'clock. And then you have the running at 6 o'clock. So basically you have like, you swim, then you have like 1 hour or 2 hours of fencing, then you do the riding, and then you do the running and the shooting. So it's very demanding through the day.
I thought triathlon was hard, but they always come up with something even worse.
This is, trust me. And you see, and when you see those expressions after the finish line, you know, those guys crying, other guys really happy, those guys completely, you know, like dehydrated.
Yeah.
And you have this raw emotion on the camera. You know, you don't need to explain what was happening there. It's like one of the beautiful things about martial arts and combat sports is that you don't need to explain. That is something that it comes from our being animals, from being human beings. Is about the fight, you know, thing that it's in our nature. You don't need to explain. You see those guys, you see a photo of guys fighting, you don't need, what are you doing here? They're beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
You probably put a volleyball or a basketball and you show to people that doesn't know what the sport. What is doing this? Why? What is that basket? What is that net? But you show them fighting. Everybody understands fighting. Yeah,
it's like the core emotion of kill the other guy, beat him, be superior to him.
Yeah, it's basically that.
And I think it's a sport that captures mostly the genuine emotion. The genuine emotion that I see, for instance, in the Renaissance pictures, where you see these, like the Michelangelo times, where you have this really natural human expression when they have the naked bodies, all the muscles tensed, and the people just not grabbing the balls, but maybe hitting on each other, and you have these eyes that speak to you.
Those guys' eyes.
Yeah, those eyes is trying to kill you or grab you, or the picture of Kronos eating the sun, and he has this very focused face as he has the baby on his hands. Like, these are timeless photos or moments or captures.
Yeah, because they show emotion.
Yeah.
They show emotion.
In this case, what do you think that is the best quality that a photographer should have to capture this emotion in its raw form as it is happening?
One of the things that is really important is for you to understand what are you shooting. It's basic. Okay, if you are going to shoot volleyball, if you're going to shoot handball, if you're going to shoot like politics, you should always know what you are shooting. Imagine that you are going to shoot like a political rally. You should understand who is the leader, who is in your position, all of the fights, because from some time to time you have to focus. Okay, so this is the guy that is running the party, but that guy is in the opposition. So let's see, when this guy is talking and he's talking about a subject that is really trouble, let me check the face of the other guy that is in the opposition. So you have to be like, who's the leader of the opposition? Okay, so he's going to talk about education, and you know that education is a shit. So let me focus on his face to see what he's going to react when he talk about that subject.
So it's like anticipating the emotion before it appears. Because when it appears, you need to be ready to click.
Of course,
right?
Because like this, imagine that the leader is talking about a really sensitive subject that is going to rattle the emotions of the people in the party, but you don't know that, and you are only focused on the guy speaking, right. And you are missing all of the reactions of the guys that, fuck, this guy's doing, and you're going to miss this. And this is important to tell the story, because if you only show the guy talking, you are, and then the other guy at the office, the guy that is writing, is going to say, so you didn't have the photo of the guy that was doing the opposition and talking smack to him? No, I was just fucking. So you are missing a part of the story. Right. So you have to understand what you are shooting. Yeah,
that's something that is occurring to me now, hearing you speak, is that if you want to capture the moment by photography, if you are just reacting to things, you're going to miss it. So you really need to have this foresight to know, okay, when is going to happen and what, and maybe what is the meaning of what is happening. Because, okay, in a fight, everyone knows the meaning, right? You want to kill the other guy, you want to be superior, you want to prove you're the best and win a gold medal. But in a political, in a political setting, you have this thing, okay, what is the meaning of the reaction of the opposition? Is this consensual? Is it not? Yeah. What is there? And that's a beautiful way to see photography.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like in sports photography. Now we are having the Olympics in China, in Peking, Beijing, the Winter Olympics, and you see a lot of photos that are really amazing because of the theatrical. You know that the guy is going to jump, especially in the periods, and the guy is going to jump and going to do this. So we are going to do a painting. So they put the camera, especially in certain positions, so you can see the guy, and then you see the architectural of the place. So you have to frame it. So for you to frame it, you have to understand that they are going to do this and this in this place. So you have to understand this.
Okay. So that's also the part of preparation that you are explaining in a political setting, but it's also required in sports photography.
Of course.
Wow.
So you have to understand also, okay, so what are they doing? When are they doing? Okay, so if they do this, so I have to be here at this time to press the shutter.
In terms of, I was going to say in terms of sports photography, but it can be any photography. What is the photo that makes you most proud? I can then put this on the video so people can see. To me?
Yeah, okay. Probably it was one of the first photos that I took in the Olympic Games in 2016. And this is one of the photos that I'm really proud of because it was a very challenging one, One of my photo heroes is Donald Mirale. This guy is like the fucking Ronaldo of photography. This guy has been into 10 or 15 Olympics. This guy won the World Press Photo. This guy is really good. This guy is a source of inspiration for me and other photographers. And this was how I found out about underwater cameras, to take photos of underwater.
Right.
So I was checking his work, and when I went to work for the Modern Pentathlon Federation, I said to my media manager, that was a good friend of mine, and it was him that put the foot on the door for me to get into the federation. I said, Rock, we must need an underwater house holding to put a camera to get these photos. This will going to take us to another level in terms of image, of exposition. So we managed to talk with, he managed to talk with the Secretary General, Shiny, the Chinese, and he convinced her to buy a house holding. So
house holding is to insulate the camera for underwater photos.
So they spend around 5,000 euros.
5,000.
Yeah, just for the water housing. to the camera. So, and this was really just before going to the Olympics. So basically, imagine this: I had the plane on a Monday to Rio de Janeiro, and the householding arrived me on the Friday. So basically, I didn't have any time to test. I didn't have the swimming pool. So this was all new. So I was putting the camera inside the householding, fill up my bathtub, setting everything up, and start shooting so it work. And
so you have to change the filters in the camera because the light is different underwater. That kind of settings, right?
So you have to do it.
Calibrate it.
You have to set everything before putting the camera under the water. But this part is funny because it's like I just want to test it to see if everything was working or if it was shooting. So I took the photos and I sent the photos to Rock from my cell phone. Rock, we have camera. It's working. It's in my bathtub. And it was funny, but and I was nervous. So I see that the camera was working. So the next step was arriving in Rio and set it up in the swimming pool. And this was the tricky part because this was the first time. So I had to to get a tripod, to get some weights from the gym, to fix the camera on the floor of the swimming pool. Yeah.
Oh shit.
And then this was funny because it was like this was all new and there was a lot of pressure to get a good photo. While I was waiting, for the guy, you have to wait for the swimming pool responsible to arrive and to authorize and to check the equipment. So the guy comes and says, "Oh, I'm sorry because I was checking out on the other swimming pool and there was the Russians. They want to install it was a robotic camera, completely different thing, and they had to put a cable with electricity on the water.
In the water.
So,
shit, that's
to feed the robot,
Right.
because some like
it could be autonomous with a battery or something. It could be autonomous with a battery. No. At the time, maybe not.
You have to feed the robot. Trust me, because if you look at, there is a very funny photo from the Olympics in 2016. So you have the Michael Phelps lane and you have all the other lanes. So in the Michael Phelps lanes, you see I think it's 2 or 3 robots, and then you have the householdings.
Underwater.
Yeah, and then you have the householdings like mine. What's the difference between the householding and the robots? With the householding, you put the camera in there, and you point it to one spot, and that's it. With a robot, you put the camera inside the robot, and the robot allows you to change the angle of the camera, to change the speed, to change everything. So you can shoot the guy when he jumps out, and then you can turn around and jump the guy when he comes in, and then you can jump the guys all on the side when they come. So it gives you this.
So the robot is a rotating head?
Yeah, it's a rotating.
But it's not moving, or is it?
It's
the robot itself.
The robot itself is fixed on the ground, but the rotating head allows you to do that. Basically, it's like Associated Press, Reuters, Getty that have this, and these are really fucking expensive,
I can imagine. If just the case was $5,000, then these must be
you're talking serious money. And then you have this guy operator in the remote, in the booth, changing everything. So this is another.
So you were competing as the underdog with just a small case.
A funny thing is that I had no competition in the swimming pool because modern pentathlon in terms of Olympics, it doesn't have a lot of media like swimming, So basically, when I was setting up the remote, I was the only one guy with a remote, and this was funny because I was nervous. I set it up. The guy said, okay, you just put like this. I followed these tips, and it was really went everything okay. So I was getting out of the swimming pool with my Hawaiian shorts, I didn't change to the other shorts. I just went there, put a t-shirt and then the vest, and the other guys start coming, to the swimming pool. And this was funny because the fact that I had a remote gave me credit in terms of relationship with other guys. I'm not going to explain. I was there with my shorts, with my camera, and then the guys start arriving, and then 2 of the guys arrive and sit near me, and they say, "Hey, hello, how are you? Hello, how are you?" And one of the guys, and this guy was working, I think it was for Reuters or Getty, so the 2 big companies in terms of photography, and looks at my shorts like, fuck, this guy has shorts.
What a noob.
So he goes like, "Yeah, I like your shorts." And I was like, I know that he was saying this in order to tease me, and I was like, you motherfucker. So I go to him, I have the shot because I went into the swimming pool to set up a remote, and he was like, oh, you have a remote? And I was like, yeah, motherfucker, I have a remote. And
Show off, take it.
And then as soon as I said that I set up a remote in the water camera, he completely changed his attitude toward me. He respected me. He knew that I knew what I was doing, you know. And the funny thing is that during the competition, you know, the final stage, I went to a position and there he was. And then I went into the finish line to a certain position, and then it was like near me, and it was like we're looking at each other, and I was like, fucking respect. And then even as they were crossing the line, it was like 1, 2, 3, and then we were the first 2 guys like sprinting up to the podium. So when we arrived at the podium, we were like again looking at each other, and
Islam, respect, man.
And it's like, for me, this is like one of the most important things that you can have in terms of professional is like when you have the recognition of your peers, of the people that shoot behind you on your side. So when you have a guy that works for Getty or Reuters, and like, yeah, you are good, because they're like, these guys are the best in the business, you know. If you work for Getty or if you work for Reuters,
are they really the best, or you just have like right time, right opportunity, right friends?
No. Usually when you are on Reuters, on Getty, they evaluate your work, and you have to be really good to be there. It's like I'm not going to lie about this shit. You know, when I went into the Modern Pentathlon Federation, it was because of a friend, but it was not because we were really good friends. No. He, like I told before, he put the foot on the door to me. It was in 2015. He was working there because also a friend of ours put the foot in the door to him. And so he had to prove himself.
Right.
Okay. And sometimes you need someone to put the foot in the door to inevitable. You. It's like, it's not like, it's different when you have like uncle or a father or someone that is really and gives you a job, and like, it doesn't matter if you do well or right, this job is yours, you can fuck it up, it's yours. No, it's like the other guy was like, okay, I have a person here that can do this job, do you want to give him a chance? And that was happened to me. My friend Rock, you know, he was the media manager, and he told Shiny, the Chinese, and the Chinese are fucking demanding. So no, Shiny, we need a photographer, we need photos to feed the Instagram, to press release, everything like that. I have a friend that worked in the university, he's really good, do you want to give him a shot? And she said, okay, let's give him a shot. So I went to Rome. They only pay me the travel expenses and the hotel, so I didn't get paid for anything. This was a test drive. So I went there, I do the competition, and in the end Shiny said, okay, I like your job. You are going to go to Berlin, to the World Championships, and you are going to tell me how much you want to earn per day. So I give. So I went to Berlin. And then in Berlin, I did this fucking amazing job. And she came to me and she says, I really loved your work. I want you to go to France, to Qatar, and to Georgia to shoot these 3 competitions. I said, okay, Shiny, let's go. Man, so after France and after Georgia, it was in the second day of Georgia, the World Championship for biathlon and triathlon. She came to me, Nuno, do you want to go to the Olympics with us? And I said, fuck yeah.
It was the first time you went to the Olympics, so you had to prove yourself in all these championships, in all these sports.
It was not because my friend, you know, it was not because it was important for him to put the foot on the door. But it's like if you do not provide, you're out of the door.
So that's like it created the opportunity for you to prove yourself.
Yeah, and then I took advantage of it.
And that's what I feel that we can do as humans. We want to help our friends, but I think it's not considered to be political if you just give the opportunity. You don't give, like as you said, you just give the job with no responsibility at all, then of course it's biased. But if you just create opportunity and you allow people to show their potential and to show what they can do, I think there's nothing wrong with that.
It was what happened with me. And it's one of the things that I really love and that gives me some pride is that in 7 years, now this is 7 year, I had 3 media managers. And when Rock left the federation, after he was there from 2014 to 2016. Then it remained there a Brazilian guy, Leandro, and I stood his ground in a decision, in a competition. And when he left the Modern Pentathlon Federation, he went into the new media manager, the French guy that is also, we became really good friends, and he told me, always keep Nuno. Don't ever let Nuno go. And back then, the French guy was like, why the fuck is he telling me that? And after a few competitions, he understood that.
Yeah.
And now we became really good friends. He even invited me to his wedding, So when you are able to establish this kind of relationships, okay, they're really good, And it's just not about how you are in terms of professional, in terms of what you can provide. It's also in terms of who you are. It's really important for you if you want to establish yourself as a successful professional in each area you work. You also have to be a good person. I truly believe in this, because sometimes it's like you can be really good in performance, but you can be a fucking dick, and eventually people get tired of fucking dicks.
It's what's called emotional intelligence, is knowing how to relate with other human beings, and being kind and being tolerant and being a cool guy to be around, because that's what we want, to be fun to be around.
Trust me. And when you are a people person, opportunities come. This is how, like this, I started in university, then I went to Braga, then I went to the nightclub, then I went to Modern Pentathlon Federation. I already have a proposal for the university that told me, okay, if you ever want to leave the University of Minho, don't worry, I have a work here for you. So it's like this. It's just like I can get you 10 guys that can do the same job as I do. Okay, because like in photography, everybody, it's not that hard to do a competent work. Okay, I can do other stuff that are like you develop like this personal language or this vision of the world, but it's not like fucking rocket scientists. You'll have like 2 or 3 guys in the world. Other people can do the job. But if you do the job good and you are a good person, people want you by your side.
So would you say that the thing that sets you apart from all these other photographers is your character and the way you interact with other people? Just the kind of natural connection that you establish with others, and just being fun to be around and just being different.
It's like this. If I had been a fucking dick as a coach to you, right? I would not be here.
Oh, that's true.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
No,
that's the thing. Like, even though
you were my student, like as a coach. I used to do a little bit of bully, and messing around with people, but they like it, they like it. They have fun.
That's okay if you know how to be smart about it, because that's also something I notice, is that some people, they see, oh, look at this person that is interesting and fun, but they don't understand why it's fun, and they go past the boundaries, and they start to be dicks without realizing, and they make mean comments. But it's very hard to be just, how to say it, just...
do not crossing the line, being in that...
Yes, it's like being offensive enough to not be normal, but not too offensive to really make people trigger and make you not fun anymore. It's a very hard process to master.
It's a very thin line, trust me.
Yes.
And I like to walk that line, sometimes during my work at university, and I'm not going to say that I rub shoulders with some important people, because they are in a level that I'm not. But it's also good when you are like people like your father, and you're like they are like high level brains, that are not in your pay grade or your level. But when they are near you, they treat you properly, and they treat you with respect, and they come to you, no, how are you? When are you going to do the calendar and stuff like that?
Yeah.
And it's good, to...
Yeah, I think it's bullshit to believe that people are different in the sense that, oh, he earns more than me, or my boss is different from me. Like, no, man. That's what people used to think for centuries, that there's this royal blood, and they are different from us, and they're the imperials. That's all bullshit. Like, we are all human beings, and we're all equal, and... I think that people, if they try to make artificially seem like they are more than what they are, it's just about ego and about politics or whatever. Yeah. And I don't buy into that. For me, every person is valuable. Even if you have the worst job they can think. Like, even if it's actually quite like that. If you have a very bad job, then I even empathize more because I thank you, because it's jobs that people normally don't want to do
it.
And I say, thank you very much. I value a lot.
You should always respect everybody. It's like this. If you want to see how you are as a leader, you should see how that people take care of the lower people, you know?
Yes.
If you are like this, it's like when Machiavelli says, it's better to be loved or to be feared.
Of course, it's to be loved. Like,
to
no
loved,
question.
You know, to be respected, you know?
Like, what else can we do as human beings than to show love and show affection to others? I think that's human value in a way. We tend to think that it's not normal because we get all these bad examples from TV and politicians, but that's a very specific scenario and a very filtered mentality. I believe that most people are very kind and are very loving of others, and they want to show that.
It's like this. As a human, we have the capability, to be really loving and really cruel. It's a matter of the situation.
Absolutely.
It's like one of the things, like I'm a really big fan of cinema and TV and that stuff. And one of the series that I really enjoy is Walking Dead. People, Walking Dead. Trust me, Walking Dead is not about zombies. It's about how humanity can rebuild after a collapse. And the way they explore and they show how we can relate, how we can rebuild as a society, what can a human being do to survive. And you see situations in those kind of shows that you see, what would I do in this situation? That it's him or me.
Yeah.
It's his family or me. And that makes you think about, you know, and you see yourself in the mirror and say, fuck, I'm a decent guy. But I could, in that situation, probably I'll do a horrendous crime. And that makes you think.
That's, I think, what makes works timeless, is that when they deal with human nature, and since human nature never changes, it only changes the circumstances in which we exist that manifest different aspects of us or promote certain things, but things that really go to the core of what we are, to how we behave, I think that's what really hits us and what makes something really a great work.
Yeah.
I remember, for instance, one idea or one conversation that really struck me was when Jordan Peterson, a Canadian philosopher that is very famous nowadays, and he was trying to teach his students about human nature, and he said that he did this exercise in class because he was lecturing on psychology, and he said, imagine that you're a prison guard or that you're a policeman in 1930s in Germany. How do you go from being a regular citizen or a regular policeman to being a Nazi policeman working for the state? Like, what is the mental process or the context that these people face? And do you think he would ask his students, do you think you will do the same? Or what was the action that you decide? Because normally we have this distance. Oh, they were just Nazis, whatever. But no, they were human beings. So the question is, what would we do in the context? How will we define ourselves? And that's very profound. That really points the finger at you and say, you're not different from them. Or they were not different from you. You, if you were in their context, you could behave exactly the same way.
The same. It's like I remember when they started talking smack about Hugo Boss, you know, oh, this was a fucking Nazi. He do all the uniforms, so Hitler and shit like that. Come on, man. It's like what he was going to do is going to say no, I'm not going to do the outfit to you. Fuck, they were in power, you know, they were evil, you know. It was like, if I don't do this, these guys are going to fuck me. That doesn't mean that you
probably
are a
kill
Nazi.
him or whatever.
You know, it's like, one of the funny things is like when they did the Nuremberg trials, and the guy that signed the surrounding was Karl Donitz. It was the admiral for the Navy. And this guy, you know, a lot of generals from the United States and other countries, they testify in favor of him because he was like, this guy was a career military. It was not like a fucking Nazi. He had to do his work because it was his job.
Yeah.
He was not a bad person, that was his job.
And that's the thing, like, you don't have to be a bad person to do bad things. You just need to be put in the right context in which you have no choice.
No choice.
And it can happen to anyone at any time. We are never safe from that.
It's like you if you don't see Walking Dead, you can see the Korean how it was that on Netflix, that was this huge success.
Korean movie or series?
The series, TV series on Netflix.
I don't watch series.
It was,
I don't watch Netflix. I don't know.
Oh, damn. I keep forgetting.
Was it the one that was very bloodthirsty? They were killing each other. The kids were watching.
Yeah.
I don't know the
because
name.
they had to win a game,
Oh, I don't know the name, but I know what you're referring.
Yeah.
And I think it was a problem because the parents were concerned. The kids
Yeah,
were watching all
because the
this
kids, they
violent
were-
shit
yeah.
with murder and all that. Very hardcore.
Yeah, and you had like this. What would I do in this situation? And you see that they were not bad persons, and then you can see like a bad guy doing a good deed, and you can see a good person do a bad deed. It's like the situation.
And I think that gives this humility to believe that, okay, what are my limits as a human being? What will trigger me? What will push me over the boundary? And how will I react towards people that have crossed that boundary? Will I punish them? Will I feel resent towards them? Will I try to understand the context that created that and be empathetic towards them?
It's like sometimes only when you are put to the test in certain situations that you can say that, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Before that, you cannot. It's like,
yes,
in my personal life, there is only probably one thing that I'm ashamed, okay? And when I did that thing, before doing that thing, I would say, fuck, I don't know how a guy that do this shit can look himself into the mirror. And after doing that shit, I was looking myself into the mirror. And I was like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
Who are you? But you are still doing your life. And that really messed up a lot of things in me, because I did a bad shit and I had to live with that. And I was living, my regular life.
Yeah,
and I was like, who am I?
And like recalibrating your values, how you see yourself.
Completely.
And there you cannot lie. Like, you can lie to others. I'm a great guy. I do this. But when you look inside, there's no lying. You know what you're doing.
You know what you did. And it is like, before being in those shoes, I was like, no, I'll never do that. Those guys are motherfuckers. Blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, fuck.
Yeah, like, the shit that others do is not so far away. We tend to think, I will never do that. But it's not. It's very close.
Never spit into the air because it can fall on you.
Yes.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, and it's very close. And we are very much alike, more than we like to think. And in this case, when we face something that we don't like or we don't agree with, I don't talk even about when introspection, when you're looking at yourself, but let's go back to the example of the people that were living in Nazi Germany or about to be in Nazi Germany. I think the way that you deal with that is by telling the truth and staying true to what you believe that is right. Because these bad situations, they happen when people lower their heads. Even if they feel that something is wrong, they lower their heads, look to the side, nothing to do with me. But I think that if we as human beings, we always say, okay, no, this is wrong. I don't agree with this, and speak it loud and try to act on it. I think that's a good way to prevent bad things from happening. Yeah,
but like this, we have to learn it the hard way. But even now, in certain situations, it's not easy to speak loud,
No, of course not. But that's why hard times need courage. And like we said earlier, we're not going to talk about COVID, but I don't want to talk if you don't want to talk. But if you want to talk, we can talk. But I see that lots of what's happening now is when people don't have courage and they see things that are wrong and they don't make sense and they lower their head and they say, okay.
But we can talk COVID,
No, it's okay.
I like so much COVID that I even got it twice.
Twice, man.
Yes, twice. But
it
was fun.
I got it once. I had symptoms for not even 24 hours and I had to stay 1 week at home in quarantine.
Yeah.
That was perfectly fine.
I was like, but you you're a pussy. You only had like this new variation, this week variation.
Yeah.
I had the first one, and I took it like a man.
You lowered your pants. Come to me.
No, it was funny because it was like I got the first time in 2020 and now in 2021. And the first time I only got like lost my smell for 5 days. Yeah, only that.
Kind of scary.
No, it was not scary. Trust me, I didn't feel scary because like on the first day I didn't know that I had, and I feel like really tired, But I think it was because what I did in the day before, because I had fooled around quite a bit. So I think, I'm a little bit tired because of this. But only on the second day that I wake up and I say, fuck, I'm tired of that shit. And I was like, oh no. Could it be? Could it be? So I get the perfume and I got that, and I was like, shit, I got COVID. Okay. And it's like I was really not afraid. I was pissed because I lost something because of COVID.
You mean an event or something like that?
I was having this summer passion with a Persian girl, and it was like I was having like a really good time, and we managed to get COVID at the same time.
That's good. So you don't have to be apart.
No, but we were apart because she was in Porto and I was in Braga, and this was the time that when you are in COVID, the doctor is going to call you every day. The police can go to your door. Controls in train stations.
Well, I think it changed a lot. I got COVID 2 weeks ago, so we are in February. I got it in the end of January, and no one gives a shit. I had to call them to say, okay, what will I do? Like call the national service. Yeah. What can I do? When will I give?
Been there, done that. The second time with me was like this. Trust me.
Yeah.
So it was completely different. And the second time is like I didn't have any symptoms. Zero symptoms. I was having lunch with my former boss, and this is another funny thing about COVID, and it's so fucking crazy. So my former boss, it was on my left, and another colleague of mine was in front of me. So we had lunch for like 1.5 hours in the same table. I got COVID. The guy in front didn't get COVID. How can you explain me that?
I don't know. I really don't know, because normally you say that the transmission is proportional to the time that you spend inside a closed space, and so that the particles accumulate in the air. So
we were the three of us in a closed space for like 1.5 hours.
Yeah, that's enough time for everyone to get.
And it was like my boss was on my left and the other guy's in front of him.
That's enough time to get it. But the thing is, bodies are different. Like what is enough virus to infect someone might not be enough virus to infect another one, and we don't know that.
But basically, my former boss got me COVID, and the other guy in front didn't get. But the other guy, like after 15 days after, he got COVID. So it's like
it's kind of inevitable. Like crazy. Nowadays, we're all gonna get it. I don't think there's a way we.
No, it's like now with the vaccines and everything like that, life must return to normal.
Yeah, like it still puzzles me how there's these mask mandates everywhere, and it's been shown that masks don't work all that well. They don't work as well as we thought.
It's like this. For me, it doesn't make sense to have mask on the outside. For me, it's like if you are on the outside, you don't need mask.
It never made sense, but that has been a political thing, like to maybe put fear on people. I don't know, but it never made sense. It's never explainable.
Inside like closed space, okay, it can prevent, because like this, I had COVID. I was with my girlfriend for entire 10 days, and we were wearing masks, and we managed to. I managed not to pass COVID to her.
That might play a part, but the thing that I see happening with masks, and I see it for many months, is that people put a mask and they think that it's a barrier of invulnerability. Like you put a mask, you're perfect, you can do whatever. And you can enter a room where an infected person has been for many hours, so the air is full of virus load, and you can be in there and do whatever. And I think that the focus on masks has shifted people from things that matter more, like having good ventilation. Like opening a window is much more important than any mask you can see. And nowadays, the distinction between indoor space and outdoor space is not so clear, because, you have an indoor space, but you have like big windows open. Is that indoor or is it outdoor?
Yeah.
And people are still putting mask mandates in these situations.
Yeah, but it's like this. I understand the part. I understand the side of the government. You know, they have to take care of the population, and it's like it's not easy to assess any situation. Sometimes, in situations like this, it's about good sense.
I would say it's about good science, which does not exist for COVID for many reasons. We don't need to go into there, but there is an obvious lack of good data for these kind of decisions, like data on lockdowns, data on masks.
It's all new. No, you have to do something.
It was new 2 years ago, but it's been 2 years.
I know, it's like,
and we still don't have good data.
Because like you are basically almost a scientist, or kind of a scientist. You have your PhD. You know that collecting data, analyzing that is a long process, and 2 years is nothing.
But it's more than zero. I think there's been enough time to do studies that are not conclusive, because in science nothing is ever conclusive, but to give you enough perspective into what might be at play. But the thing is, these studies have not been happening. They've not been tried to happen. So you see many political decisions that are made based on game theory, which is you make decisions based on how people will react, and not on what actually matters.
Sometimes it happens like this, you know, but it's not easy.
Yeah, it's not easy. But anyway, I don't want to go into that and making cartoon. You didn't end up telling me what was this favorite picture of yours. You start to describe the pool and the competition with the guy. What was the picture?
This is typical in me. We start talking about something and we get lost in that.
I'm going to get more liquor and ice, but you can.
So basically, I set up the remote. The other guys start messing around with me. I said that I have the remote and everything goes peaceful. So the guys get ready to the swimming pool and they jump. And so basically this photo is a square with a round, and then you have all of the guys, and then you have all of the guys in the air before entering the water. In terms of visual impact, it's a really great photo.
The whole lane of athletes.
It's like, so I have two things that in that photo that I really love. It's like the looks, the plasticity of the photo, and then everything that is behind that photo. You know, the struggle, the process. This is why this is one of my favorite photos. Right. And I can show it to you. I have it here.
It's okay. I will put it on the video for people to see. So, but yeah, I think I can imagine it.
Yeah. It's really a great photo.
So let's talk a bit also about the judo calendar, because I think it was quite innovative at the time. So this was 8-9 years ago.
This was in 2015. It was 7 years ago.
7 years ago.
7 years ago.
So this was basically a calendar that was black and white with athletes naked, judo athletes naked, and
that were my students.
Yes, your students.
Yes, I took advantage of my students. I'm such a bad guy.
Yeah. But I know that you didn't ask me. Maybe I was not hot enough to be naked in pictures.
I don't think that back then you were with me, because I think this was in my first year as a coach, I think.
Yeah, probably.
My first year as a coach.
I don't want to ask. So these people, I think it was very innovative, and I think people should look it up. And they had original things covering their private parts, like judo belts or helmets from motos. I wanted to ask, what was your motivation to do this besides looking at hot naked athletes?
It's like this. I always enjoyed these nude athlete photos from Sports Illustrated. They have the body issue. I also knew that the guys in England, the universities used to do, like guys from rowing do these calendars, you know, to help the needy students and stuff like that. And it was like, I was looking at that and I was like, this could be something that I could do. I really enjoyed that kind of photo, you know, with the strong bodies, you know, and also to have a good reason behind that. So first I tried to do this. It was back in 2010. It was with the Taekwondo guys, with Rui Bragança, that is our Olympian from Taekwondo.
Yeah, he's champion, right?
Yeah, it was. I think he was 3 times European champion, 1 time vice world champion, bronze medal in the world championships. Also,
Wow.
he's the real deal.
Badass guy.
Yeah, badass. And he was like this. He's a really, really nice guy. He's a really amazing guy, and he's a doctor. He finished his degree in med school. This is a good example for young people. Rui Bragança, a really great guy. So basically, back then, a lot of high-level athletes were training and studying at University of Minho, and they didn't have a lot of support. So I was a friend with a lot of them, and I said to them, "Oi, guys, do you want to do this nude calendar? This could be good, I could get you some media, for the sponsors and everything." And at first they were on board, and then 2 days after, said, "Oh, I don't think that would be a good idea." And I was like
they were
fuck.
shy.
And
to be naked.
I was like to myself, "You fucking bunch of pussies." But I was like, "No problem, I'll do this eventually." So time went through, and there was opportunity for me to grab the opportunity to be a judo coach in university, and I start being a coach in the university. So this also came into a time that we were passing through a serious crisis here in Portugal. A lot of students, they didn't have money to pay for the tuitions, for the food, for everything. And some of the students, they came to me and said, "Hey, coach, can I pay my fee next month because I don't have..." I would say,
yeah,
okay.
It was the middle of the austerity, right?
Yeah, and
so
I was
very
like,
hard times.
I was like, shit, I have my paycheck from the university. This was a side job. I don't need the money. You don't need to worry. You can pay me next month, no problem. So I already had some students. I was like 20 or 25 students. I said, shit, now this seems like a good time. We are we are like in this bad social situation. I have athletes. Let me talk to them. So I start talking with like 5 or 6 that I knew that were really close friends of mine, and I knew that basically if I challenge them, they will say yes. So I already had like 5 or 6 that I knew that were going to say okay. So when I get to the judo training, I said, "Hey guys, this is it. What do you think about this idea? Do a judo nudo calendar to help the needy children for our university." And the funny thing is that back then, these were like 20 guys, 2 girls. The first 2 persons that raised their arm to be in the calendar were the 2 girls.
Which
Angela
normally you
and
will
Marta.
not expect because they were like, oh, they're afraid of showing their bodies.
But these girls, and they were like fucking hot. Angela and Marta, they are really hot girls, athletes, beautiful girls. So they said, we want to be in, and I was like, damn. And
nice.
All of the guys start looking at each other. Shit, if they go naked, I will also go. So they start raising their arms.
And like, if they're gonna be at like photo shoot, they will be naked. I want to be there. Let's go.
And basically, I was like, me and Jose, that is also a guy that is also a professor here in the education institute. We were also to be in the calendar in the first edition. So, but when I start counting all of the guys, 1, 2, 3, 12. And I said, okay, you are the guys that are going to be in the calendar. So Jose and me, we didn't need to be in the calendar. And it was funny because when the calendar came out, everyone was like, why are you not in the calendar? Yeah, you only put the other people. Don't worry. In the second calendar, we are going to be naked. And then when the second calendar came out and we were naked, you are always showing off, always naked. And they were like, come on, really? It's like,
people are always talking shit.
Always talking shit. If you get naked, it's because you get naked. If you don't get naked, it's because you put other people naked. And it was like
fucking haters. Just
it is what it is.
Yeah,
but it was like it was funny because it's like when I started this project, I knew that the project would have success because like I had a good motive behind it, to help the needy students. The photos was good. The timing was good because we were in the crisis.
The social timing.
Yeah, the social
I
time.
remember the photos were very well taken, very creative. It was not these just pose and do that. They had really this artistic element and the originality to them.
So basically, and I had the contacts because I work in the area. I had the contacts in the TV. So when I started sending the press release, I already had the national television on board because I had a good friend there, and I talked to him, and he said, okay, don't worry, you are going to do the covering this. So basically, I sent the press release on the Monday night, and on the Wednesday, I had the guy from the media office from the university where I work now, but back then I was not there. They're like, no, I have here SIC and TV that want to film you this morning.
The national TV,
yeah, the two national TV. They want to do you this morning. I was like, what the fuck? And I would start calling to Marta, to Angela, to other guys. So come on, guys, you need to be here at 11 o'clock. So they were talking to their boss because two of them already worked. They were talking to their bosses to come to university to talk, and the bosses were really cool, so they allowed them to go out of the job
that's
to be on TV, and it was really nice. And it was like we were talking to the TV and everything. So in that first year, we managed to get around 10,000 euros, because it was like
in donations or
it was like 5,000. No, it was like 5,000 in donations, and then we sold I think it was 800 calendars. So it was basically around 8,000 euros that we managed.
Very nice.
Yeah. To
very
5,000 euros were from the International Judo Federation. I sent an email with a project, with everything. And after a while, like after a month, I got an email from them, and I was like, shit, this is like one of those emails from Nigeria, from that guy trying to give us $10 billion. He's like, and then I was like, no, shit, this looks real. So I started checking out, the email, the name of the person. I went to the IFJ website and I said, shit, this is real. So I start changing emails with them, and they send us a check for $5,000.
That's amazing.
Yeah, this is
just started all with the power of a picture.
Yeah.
And an idea and the project.
So during these 5 editions of the calendar, we managed to gather around 25,000 euros for the needy students.
Impressive. So what happens to this money then after you get
it? Goes for the social fund from the social services and from the student union, and it's to help the needy students. Those guys, because sometimes you have people that are not in the condition to receive the scholarship, but they are really in need. So they can go to the student union or to the social services and apply to that fund.
So this, as if I understand correctly, this is not only for judo students or for athletes. This is for any student that is in need.
Yeah, any student that is in need. Basically, this is a project that started with the judo, but it evolved to another thing, because like even in the second edition, where me and Jose got naked, I got Diogo Branquinho from FC Porto. Is one of the best athletes in handball in Portugal. He's on the national team, and you have Mariana Falcão. She's also a doctor. She's a really hot, pretty girl, bright doctor, and she came to me, I want to be in the calendar. So she was also in the calendar, and after a while, like in the third edition, people from other sectors, not also being athletes, wanted to be part of the calendar, and I decided to open the calendar not to athletes, but also to people that can bring some light, some media coverage to the to the calendars. Like it was on the third calendar that we put a cultural group from the university, a gang of guys that play songs, all but naked in the Teatro Circo, and it was.
I think I saw that. It was pretty like out of context by your normal standards.
Yeah, but it was really fun. It was like Teatro Circo is like this amazing place, and then you have like there a bunch of guys that they are not athletes, but they are students, and they are taking off their clothes to show they are into the cause also, that they want to help the other colleagues.
So the criteria right now is to be a student and to be hot.
No, because like this, if the hotness was one of the criteria, I would not be there.
Oh, you're too modest. You're pretty hot guy. You're pretty buff, man.
This is bullshit, but I have to say this.
Yeah, I wish I will be like, I don't know how old you are, like 40s or something.
45,
like be super buff.
Yeah. But it was like this, because like during the calendar, you will see guys that are like Sean, the Irish guy that you got to know. He's 50 years old, and he was like ripped as fuck. And he was not, I like Sean, but he's not a pretty guy. He's ripped as fuck, but he's not a pretty guy. And I like
I agree.
Diogo, a good friend of mine that he was national champion in judo. He's a great guy. but he's like 120 kilograms. He's a little bit fat. He's a little bit chubby. But it's like this. The fucking calendar is not only for the pretty and beautiful. It's for all the people that want to help. And if I have here a judo national champion, a great guy that wants to take off his clothes and that can help me, why the fuck should I not put it on the calendar?
That makes sense. And then you focus on the message that you want to convey.
It's a message.
And that's what it's all about, like passing the right message to help the people.
This is like, the calendar is not like, this is not like when you are a young kid and always the fat fuck has to go to the to the goal. Oh, you are the fat one. You go to the goal. You will not play for it. And they're like, fuck. So it's like this. In judo, like this is one of the good things about judo. You are fat, no problem. You go fight in the 100 kilograms. You're a fucking skinny guy. Don't you go on the 60 kilograms. This is one of the good things about judo. You have place for everybody. You are a girl, you can fight with us. You are a girl, you can fight with us. No problem.
Yes.
This is one of the amazing things in judo. You can do it. Everybody has a place in judo, and the calendar is the same thing. It doesn't matter if you are white, if you are brown, if you are yellow. You are a fucking alien. Okay, if you are a student of the University of Minho or you are an athlete, you can be on the calendar.
It doesn't matter
These are the two things that you need to be on the calendar. If you are an athlete, or if you are a student from the university, or a student of the University of Minho. Like this one of the photos that I really love in the calendar. It was really challenging because she was a fucking unicorn, you know.
The girl.
Like she was
too hot to be true.
No, she was smoking hot. You know, she's the wife of a good friend of mine.
Okay.
Sorry. But she's fucking hot, Bernardo.
He knows, man. He knows.
He knows she's fucking hot.
That's why you married her, yeah.
That's why he married her. And she's smoking hot, you know. And she got pregnant. And when I was talking to them, so, what do you think? And she said, I want to get in the project. But, the problem, because she was not an athlete. She was never been an athlete. And she was not from the University of Minho. And I was like, fuck, how am I going to put you in the calendar? And then I remember, fuck, Bernardo, you were a fucking athlete. You was an athlete. You used to do motocross, competitive motocross, and he was working in the National Students Sports Federation. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to put you both in the picture.
Okay.
So this is
again. Doesn't it sound a bit artificial that you have these criteria and you have to stick to them? So like, are these criteria, being an athlete or being a student of the university, something that you really need? Or is it time to expand the calendar a bit broader?
Because it's like this. I want to keep a connection in the. This is my option. I want to keep a connection with university and with sports. Outside of this criteria, I only allow someone in the calendar. It's like this. Imagine that Justin Bieber wants to be in the fucking calendar. Okay, I'm not going to say, oh no, Justin Bieber, you're a fucking Canadian tattoo pussy guy. I don't want you on the calendar. Fuck no, I'm going to have Justin Bieber on the calendar because this guy is going to bring me a lot of money to the calendar. That's a lot of money to help the needy students.
What's the boundary?
The boundary is that if you are not an athlete or from the University of Minho, if you are a superstar, or a mediatic person, like a TV star in Portugal, or like an actor, someone that I know that will bring something to the calendar. Do you understand?
Okay, yes, makes
sense.
This. Someone that then help promote the message.
Promote the message. Otherwise, you are going to, the calendar will lose a little bit of his, not personality, of his, how can
identity.
I say? Identity. You lose a little bit of his identity.
Yes, it makes sense.
It's important to keep an identity to the calendar. Okay, so I can go outside athlete or in student of University of Minho in cases that I say, okay, this guy is someone that is really important and it's going to give a lot to the calendar in terms, because in the end it's about making money, because making money will help the needed students.
Right. Making money to create this fund for the students help fund them.
It's really nice, it's really nice when you have good photos and you have a lot of media, because it brings the spotlight into this problem. But in the end of the day, it's all about money.
Right.
Because you have a lot of people saying, oh, this is bad, you must help, oh, this is bad. Okay, how do you help? Money. It is.
Yes, like we have these things that were like a few years ago, thoughts and prayers for you as a consequence of Paris terrorist attacks. But like thoughts and prayers, who cares about that? Like you need action.
You need action. Yeah. This is like you have to be pragmatical.
So the calendar is to happen every year. Do you think it's a project that has legs to
sustain?
This
is like this right now. It's like it's stopped for 2 years because of COVID, and it's like it's getting difficult, because like. People are like, I'm talking to people, do you want to be on the calendar? Yeah. And I say, are you ready to pose? Yeah. And then I'm not fit or like this, These last 2 years, it's been a little bit tricky to get people to pose for the calendar.
You always need different people. So it's 12 people a year.
I try to bring new people to the calendar, just not to be like at the same faces again, Mm-hmm. And it's like when I was working in the sports, and I had a closer relationship with the athletes here. It was easier for me to get athletes. Now it's a little bit more difficult, but I'm a little bit out of the concepts of the sports in
Did you
university.
Quit your job as a judo teacher?
Yes, I quit my job as like I told you before, like 4 years ago. It was like I had 5 years as a judo coach. It was really great the first 4 years. The 5th year, it was a little bit tricky. I was not feeling motivated. And when you are not feeling it, you should know when to step out. So Angela, that posed for the calendar, she was also finishing her degree in sports. She was also on her way to be a black belt. She just finished her degree in judo coach. And I said, Angela, it's you that have to assume the coaching. And she was, I know, I don't want. And I sit with her and with Parent, our former boss, and said, Angela, you have to grab it. Now this is your time to do it. And she was okay.
Step up.
And then she stepped up and she continued the work.
So now she's a current teacher here.
No, she was here for 2 years and then she left University of Minho to work in University of Porto.
Okay, fair enough.
So it's like this. It's like sometimes it's like, this is not like my farm, my quinta, It's like I had my time. It was good. Now it's time to pass it to another person. And it was what I did. It was like 5 amazing years as a coach. I learned a lot as a person, I made a lot of friendships, I'm here because of that,
yes.
Talking to you. So it's like this is one of the great things about sports, the friendship, the personal growing, the personal development that you do, the education through sports, the values that sports bring you, like leadership, friendship, companion, being punctual, responsibility. These are things that are gained and that are learned through sport.
Yes,
I am who absolutely. I am today due to the sports that I did.
I also think that sports teaches you how to dissolve your ego a lot, because you will never be the world best. And even people that are the world best at a certain point in time, it's just this time. But the people that are second, third, and other ranking, they will bust their asses trying to step on you and overcome you. So even if you win once, there is no guarantee that we'll win again. And the chances are it happens to everyone, every athlete, that will come at a point in a life where you will lose a battle. Yeah. And you will have to learn how to deal with the emotion of losing and not being the best, and having the mental resilience to step up and improving yourself. Because this is what we were talking offline a bit earlier, like what sets athletes apart is not their preparation, is not their physical ability, is their mental capability to respond to the challenge at the time of the competition, and not be cowards and not frown, but saying, okay, I'm here, I'm going to do my best, I'm going to crush you.
Of course, it's like, just like this is funny. It's just like me and my girlfriend, we were watching like the Georgina on Netflix,
Ronaldo's girlfriend?
The documentary. It was fun, everybody was talking shit about the document, shit like that, and I was like, let's see it. And it was really nice to see, and to see how she seems to be a nice girl, And why I called Georgina here to the subject? Because 2 of her bouncers, not bouncers, security guards, are Portuguese, 2 twins. They were commandos. They were also in the diplomatic security service for Portugal. They were the security of 2 ministers, and now they are working for Ronaldo and for Georgina. And two of those guys, you look at them and they don't see like all buff and stuff like that, because they were, when you are a special force, you're not like fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger, like grabbing two machine guns. No, these guys are guys that are like fucking fit, slim. They have to be fast. It's not about the mental. The mental part is important, but the most important part in special forces are the mental part. And you are talking about two guys that were also athletes. They are federate athletes in athleticism. So these guys,
athleticism, not martial arts.
No, not martial arts. They were doing athletics. Okay, so they have this mental process of achievement, goals, everything like that. They were really well prepared. So they decided, okay, I'm going to do the 12th grade, and then I'm going to do the commando. So they have all of this background, physical and mental background behind them. And sports can give you this for them. And they were like top five or top 6 in their commandos course.
Well, it's incredible. It's about the method. They teach you how to focus on a moment. I noticed that a lot in the climbing club, because for 2 years now, for 2 years and a half now, I've been climbing at the Club de Escalada de Braga, which, by the way, they started their own calendar.
Yeah?
Yeah, like they have very strong kids, like very strong, many national champions. And they started this year, the idea of also making a calendar with the kids, 12 kids a year, and they're trying to push it to maybe get some funds. And one thing that I noticed is that there's all ages in climbing, mostly kids, teenagers, young adults, people in their 30s, 40s, there's everyone. And I noticed, especially in kids, when they come the first time, kids, and we're talking about like 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 years, they come to the club for the first trainings and they're very erratic. They don't keep their attention. They are always losing the focus. They're always playing around. They're always messing. They're very sudden in their movements. And one thing that is amazing about climbing is that you really need to be concentrated, because you can't go to the wall dancing around. You need to go and think carefully where you step, and just being focused on your movement and feeling your fingers and your hands, and not stepping out of wandering. And I noticed that the kids, they gain a lot of concentration, because they go from all this super stimulus to being in the moment. And when they this is a learning process of the sport. The sport teaches them to drop everything at the door and just be in the moment and be focused.
You are talking this to me, and I'm grabbing here the cell phone to look for something, because you made me remind me of a book that I have, and it's about one of the guys that was really one of the great wrestlers in the history of the United States. And I'm trying to search him here, and I'm not finding it, and I'm not also reminding the name of the book. I think it's the Fighting Game or something like that. And I bought this book years ago because I was, and I'm still a little bit into mixed martial arts and stuff like that. And this book, it talks about the mind game of the high-level athletes. And one of these guys, in the first chapter, it was one of the guys that is like it's like a kind of Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the best athletes from the wrestling in the United States. And this guy, he made me realize like the importance of failure to success.
Yes, it teaches you a lesson. Like you only learn when you fail, and when you learn your boundaries, and when you learn that you're not good enough and that you need to improve. That's when really growth happens. Not only in sport, but also in life. Like when you fail an exam, when you have a bad relationship.
And you have to go back to the drawing board and see what you did bad, what you did good, and then what are you going to do to solve these questions and to improve yourself. And sports give you this. And this guy was saying in the book that one of the key moments in his career, it was one defeat. One defeat, it was in the final of the national championship before the Olympic Games. And he told me, if I didn't lose that final on the national championship, I'll probably not win the gold medal at the Olympic Games, and I'm going to explain why. So this was a guy that basically trashed everybody. It's like a fucking steamroller over the competition, like busting everybody else. Like he was not the guy that I don't win 5-0, 6-0 in points. I'm the guy that wins like 25-30-0. So this guy was like in the final, and he was like winning the guy in the national championship, but he was like, fuck this guy, I'm just winning for 2 or 3. No, I'm going to fuck him up. So he tried to do something, and the other guy was counting on that.
Yes.
And he lost the final because he made a mistake.
So he went easy on him?
In a way? No, he didn't win. He didn't went easy on him. What he wanted is like, he was winning like for 5 or 6-0, but he was thinking, no, fuck, I don't win 5 or 6-0. I'm John Smith. I win like 30-0. Fuck. So he went like, and when you go with that mindset, you eventually you overdo it and you do mistakes. And when you do mistakes, you can lose. And that's what it happened.
So he was taken by ego
and arrogance. He was taken by his ego. So he lost that final. What he did is like, fuck. He had to do all of this work, all of this mental process to see what he did wrong. So when he went into the Olympics and he was on the final, and he trashed everybody into the final, and he was fighting, I think it was a Russian guy, and he was winning like by 2-0 or 1-0. And he didn't went like, I'm John Smith, I win battle. No. Let's take it easy. Let's be tactical. Let's take this to the finals, to the final moment, and keep this advantage. And this is how he won. And he was saying this, if I didn't have that loss, yes, I would probably went into berserker mode like, whoa! And the guy take advantage, and I had lost my gold medal.
That's really important, especially because we in media, or we as a public, you just want a good story, the triumphant, the hero. And they don't want to hear about the loser, but it's the loser that makes the hero.
Yeah.
Because we need to be a loser first before we can acquire the mental resilience to become the heroes.
Completely.
Because that's what sets them apart. I think that what distinguishes people is not who they are in the starting point, but how they react to adversity through life.
Trust me.
I learned that a lot. I learned that in sports, because sports, I was saying, it teaches you to be humble, because you're not going to be the best. You're going to lose. You're going to find someone who is much stronger than you.
There's always bigger fish in the sea.
Always. And I learned that also during my PhD, when I had many colleagues of mine that quit, and I saw that I faced many problems. Like, I'm not going to go much into it, but I was almost failing like 2 or 3 times. It was completely brutal in some aspects, but in the end it went very well. But that's the thing, like, there was these moments where it was either I pull myself together or I'm going to fail.
Yeah.
And in the end, if someone just looks at the end, okay, you did a PhD, you got max grade, all the best, great easy, but they don't know what happened before. They don't know the shit I was in. But it's like the shit, there were these moments where there was angst. And you were like, okay, how am I going to handle this mentally? How am I going to say, okay, I did this bad. Now I need to pick up the pieces and make something out of this and move forward. And that's really the filter of life. Like, it's the people that can react to the adversity, because we all have our problems. We all have our circumstances that are shit. It's just about handling them.
Completely.
But like, you deal with many students. With many students, with many athletes, with many people that want to be pro. We were talking, for instance, before, this volleyball team that played for free. And I see that also in climbing. There's an athlete called Tanya Chaves. She's a para-climbing athlete, which means that it's for people with certain disabilities. In their case, she doesn't have one leg, so she competes in these categories. And she's the best athlete nationally in this category. And she goes to represent Portugal in the World Cups of climbing. And the thing that strikes me is that she doesn't have any financial support. So she has a job, she works her ass in the job, then she has to train and by herself in the club with the coach. And when she goes to competition, she has to pay everything. So I wanted to ask, since you have so much knowledge of athletes, do you think that there is enough support in Portugal, like Tania's case, that in which he has no support from the federation. Is the only case, or this is happening?
No, this is happening, but this is also a tricky situation. You know why? Because like this, for you to get support, okay, and the government gives to the national federations some scholarship, some money for the athletes. But for you to get that money, you have to get results. So this is like pescadinha de rabo na boca, like you say in Portuguese.
Yeah,
so
which in English would be like positive feedback, meaning that you need something to get other thing, but to get the second thing, you need the first.
Yeah, that's it. So basically, like when you start, the money will start flowing into you when you got results. It doesn't matter if you are earning much money or less money, okay? The money will flow, but you have to get results. And it's a little bit fucked up sometimes to get results when you don't have money.
Yeah.
But it's like this. If the government just starts getting money to everybody, the government doesn't have money to give just money away to all the athletes. And I know this for a fact, that many people that are in some national federations, especially some not so known sports, they take advantage. Trust me.
People that are not so known. What do you mean?
Like there are some federations in some sports. Like imagine this: you can create a national federation from some. Like imagine now there is a sport called pillow fight.
Pillow fight.
You know, people that get into a ring and they start doing fights with pillows.
Regular pillows.
Okay. And this is a thing.
Okay.
So you are in government and you do your own federation of pillow fighting. Oh, I want money to go to the World Championships of pillow fighting.
Okay. Then you have to set a boundary. But in this case, you could say, okay, let's finance Olympic sports. That's already a reasonable criteria.
Yeah, but trust me, you have some major sports that are not Olympic sports.
That's true. That's why you need some criteria.
Okay.
You can be multiple criteria.
So you have to establish criteria. Okay, sometimes it's fucked up. I know that it's fucked up, but you have to establish criteria. Otherwise, people will take advantage of the system. And we in Portugal, is one of the things that we have bad in Portugal, is that we are culturally, we have like this tendency to take advantage of the system. And it's when you take advantage of the system, you are a clever guy, you cheeky bastard.
That's very true. We value those.
In England or other countries, if you do like that, people look at you, motherfucker, why are you doing that? But here, like we are Latins, and it's a fact. It's like if you go around the system, people will probably give you a tap in the short say, you cheeky bastard.
Yeah, you found a way.
You found a way.
You cheated it. Good job.
And it's like these people will not look at you like, why did you do that? You should be ashamed of yourself. And it's a sad truth. You know, I love my country. I think that you are in an amazing country. But you also have bad things, and one of them is like this. It's like we call it in Portuguese, the chicos espertos. And you have a lot of chicos espertos, and you have a lot of people that try to take advantage of that. And even in Taekwondo, I saw some of these cases, and you are talking about an Olympic sport. And Taekwondo now is in a bloody mess, the Taekwondo Federation, because of a president that was like this.
A president.
Yeah.
He was like taking money that he didn't have.
They took out the nationally, like, when they give you the government gives you the certification of public utility. So the government took out that thing from the Taekwondo Federation. They don't have the statue of public utility because the president was in some shady business and stuff like that. Oh
shit! So he fucked up the federation.
Yeah, and you are talking about an Olympic sport.
Yeah.
See. And that's a problem.
That's not so rare. Like there's also a problem in the climbing. I know a bit about climbing because I hear them talking about it. And in climbing, it's a mess also in which you have this federation that is the broadest in terms of funding.
They have like the camping federation.
Exactly.
And shit like that.
And then you have in quotes, the real federation that has no financing because the official one is the other one, but they don't invest anything in climbing. So you have these conflicts and one is in court. But the courts don't move, so while they don't move, they stagnate the funding.
So imagine yourself in the government, and you have this bloody mess.
Yeah, but like I think they've tried to talk to the Minister of Sport, and it doesn't really change things. Because, if you have a big funding, like the older one has, even if you are in court, you don't have legitimacy. If you have money, you have influence. So you can, even if you cannot change things, you can stall things, like make time. Like delay the process, and while you delay, you accumulate a bit more.
And then you have the side games and all of this. Trust me, it's not easy. I understand the athletes. I've been an athlete, a shitty athlete. Started really late, but I understand. I understand what the athletes suffer. It's fucked up for you want to be, and you are on a certain level, and you don't have support.
Yes,
it's like that. But it's like this. You have countries. Like I think England, and I don't want to be mistaken, but I think England is one of them, that you are an Olympic athlete, you won a medal, and you don't receive anything for that.
Even in England?
I think England is one of those countries.
Wow.
I don't want to be 100% sure, but I think it's
we would
England's
always, like that's one thing about Portuguese also. We always think that the foreigners are better than us. So we have this small mentality and we say, if this happens abroad, it must be better.
Trust me, no. And it's like this, but if you are in Singapore, you earn $1 million.
Yeah.
If you got a gold medal, but it's like this.
Singapore is different. But yeah, and that's the thing. But
then if you are in North Korea, if you don't get the medal, and if you got like 4-0 by Portugal, you probably end in the working camp.
Yeah, Korea is not a comparison. Korea, I've heard that it's like the modern day Nazi because they have concentration camps in Korea. Like the world does not have a shit of what's really going on there, or even if they know, they just turn their eyes to the side. But there's really some fucked up things going there.
Even in a big country near Korea, that I'm not going to say the name
Start with C,
because you never know when you have to go to that country, and all of these crazy programs in the internet that filter all of the keywords, and then I may get barrier at the frontier. Even in one of those countries there, you have those kind of vacation fields,
Yes, you have and that's the thing. But in this case, economic interest play the biggest role, and political powers look aside. But let's not get into that, because I've had videos removed because I used certain keywords.
I know.
And this is censorship.
I know.
And you see, you don't really understand these until
this
you
is
are
not
in
censorship. This is market laws.
No,
this is money.
Yes, but in terms
I
of...
know it's censorship. I know,
censorship.
but you understand what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's like even in the NBA, you got athletes that when they start talking about certain countries that we were talking about, they say, shut the fuck up, because they bring us a lot of dollars.
Of course money plays a part. And you have John Cena apologizing from the NBA for the Fast and Furious.
See,
that's all about money, but it's censorship driven by money and driven by other interests.
Yeah.
But this is not okay, and this is happening world in a massive scale. But
money talks.
Of course, I think money is one of the greatest drives. But so it's a bit sad, because then when we create this...
Dan Gable, that was the name of the wrestler. Dan Gable. Check it out. Dan Gable. Okay. Continue. Sorry.
No, that's okay. We create these incentives when you say, okay, you need results to get funding, but you don't really get any help until you get results, which creates a weird situation in itself. But then, even if you get results, you don't necessarily get funding, because there's these problems with federations, or there is problems of lack of recognition or lack of investment, many things. But the first thing that happens when a Portuguese athlete gets a gold medal is he goes to Lisbon, to the city hall, and he hugs the president, and he gets all the cheers. And it always strikes me as a bit hypocritical, because you're like this, okay, you don't create the conditions for the athletes, but then you're the first to pat on the back, like saying, good job, man.
It's like, it may see a little bit hypocritical, but I don't see it that way. I think that, and I don't think the athletes see that also that way. This is like, for me, it will be a pride to be recognized by the Republic. It's like sometimes some of the best awards are not only money; it's a recognition. That you have from people that you did a great job. You were really amazing. This is trust me, this is really important
for sure. And we are like very primitive brains. We want love,
I understand that the politics also like to take advantage of that.
Yes.
But this is a little bit win-win situation for both, and it's like the president, because this is the president that welcomes the guys that won the gold in the Europeans or Olympics or World Championships, is a president that welcomes that. The president has bigger fish to fry than to have to take care of these things. This is some things that the government should be taking care of. Okay.
Right. I'm not sure, because I think it's what we were talking earlier. People always talk shit for what you do and for what you don't do. Like they talk shit for being in a calendar and they complain for not being. So, but I think the public outrage will be bigger if the president will not greet the Olympic champions.
Of course.
You'll say, why don't you go celebrate them? These are our national heroes. What are you doing that is more important than going to them? So it's kind of forced in a way. Like he has to do that. Because if he doesn't do that, he will look very bad in the picture.
But remind you that it was him that started doing this, because the other president didn't do this.
Are we talking about Marcelo then?
Yes, it was Marcelo that started doing this. Okay.
I was not aware of that.
I'm not 100% sure, but almost. And it was like, I remember that when Rui Bragança was vice world champion in Taekwondo in 2009, he showed up on TV thanks to me, because the president back then, Cavaco Silva, was here at university visiting the School of Medicine, and my actual boss Julia knew a guy that worked for the president that was here. He talked to him, and I grabbed Rui, this guy's going to put you with the president, because we explained, this guy. Yeah. So he showed on the TV, and Cavaco Silva back then congratulating him on being vice world champion in Taekwondo. So I think that even back then, he was vice world champion silver, they were not receiving athletes.
Okay.
I don't want to say, they were not receiving, but I think that they were not, because they didn't have a single clue that Rui was vice world champion. Right. We had to talk with the guys, and then eventually say, we are going to put him with the president.
It's a good change. And then Marcelo, I think he has the merit of trying to bridge the connection towards the people.
Yeah.
And that's a very good thing on him.
Yeah.
But in terms of recognition, of course that we want the human recognition. We want the ceremonies. Mm-hmm. We want to feel valued by the people around us, by our friends, by the public. Because that's how our emotional brain is. We are hardwired to feel that and to seek that. Mm-hmm. But when we're talking about recognition, do you still think that this one-time recognition, that is like this ceremony, you are the winner, you go to the city hall, you go there one day, the next day you go back to your life. Do you feel that this one-time recognition is more important than, for instance, a financial recognition in the form of a scholarship that can sustain you?
Trust me, they have it. Like when you are an athlete, because then you enter this, like what they call the Olympic way. Okay, when you are an Olympic sport and you get some results that the federation decides, for you to get a scholarship, if you get these results, if you got in these 10 tournaments, if you got after these 10 tournaments, you are in 10th position of the ranking, you receive 1,000 euros. If you got into in top 5, you receive 1,500.
Oh, okay.
So this is steps, okay?
Oh, it's ranked.
Yeah, it's ranked. So this is well organized, okay? Okay. So if you manage to get the results, okay, you are there. You can say that this can be a little bit unfair when you got an injury and you don't get the results, but you already got. But it's like this. Life is not fair, but it's like this. Otherwise, you could get people that are 40 years old and still living on that result that they had 10 years ago. It's you want to receive money, you have to have result. It's because sports for those guys, it's their job. Period. It's like, it's their job. So if it's just a job, you have to have results. Like,
Yes.
you cannot come here to your job and just stay here and watch porn on the internet. You have to have results. You have to study. You have to do articles, right? These guys is the same. They have to have results. If they don't show the results, they will not get money.
Yes. If it's if that's great when it happens like that, if it's just competency based, that is great. Like if you can make it your full-time job, great. What I was just concerned with the people that cannot make that transition, that they need to have the job on the day and then they compete at night. Those are the people that I'm most concerned about.
I know, but it's like this. It's a choice that they have to do.
Yes.
I know it's like, it's not a fair role. It would be nice if they didn't need to work and to stay focused. But it's like that. You have to get the results and then you have to make a choice. Okay, I have the results. So I can receive 1,000 euros per month. Is this enough for me to quit my job? I'm going to take a risk. Okay, you can take a risk. But remember, if you don't get results, you don't get the money, because it's a job. It has to be like this.
Right.
It has to be like this.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay? Because imagine this. Okay, imagine now, because then you have younger guys knocking on your door now. And then imagine this. If you already have granted that for like 5 or 10 years, that money, okay, you are not allowing other guys to come. Imagine that now comes a guy, younger guy, that get better results than you. And they say, no, I'm not going to give you money because I'm already giving money to that guy. But that guy is not getting results. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that would be unfair in some way.
You have to have standards. Okay, I understand that it's fucked up when you are starting because you don't have support. It's fucked up, but it is what it is. But I guarantee you that when you start getting results and you take care of all of the bureaucratic process, you will receive a scholarship. You'll receive a prize. You and your coach will receive a prize money.
That's great. I believe what you say, because you have much more insight into this than me. So I think I'm very happy if this actually happens.
If it's like this, you can say, okay, I should receive more money. I will not get into that. Okay, I'm 100% in favor that athletes should receive more money. But sometimes it's like this. I will also like to earn more money, but sometimes it's not possible. It's like this. When you are like a big federation like football, you can give prizes because you have. This is also goes into the subject of federations must make efforts to be independent in terms of monetary donations from the government. You know, it's like football. Everybody says, "Oh, football, they have money. Well,
but football is a case apart.
I know, but it's like this. They work like, even now, futsal. Do you see what they do in futsal?
What?
They do an excellent job. They were like 2 times European champions. And
the national team. Yeah. The national team is very good. Now they're European and world champions.
But they are doing a fucking great job. This is not just about money. I trust you because I know all the process behind. You know, Pedro Diaz, that is in the National Federation, he was my boss here at university. He works like a fucking madman. He is a guy with a fucking great vision. He is the guy behind all of this success.
But in this case, what is his contribution to these successes?
The organization, he is the man behind, creating conditions for the teams, for the athletes, for the development of the sport.
Like infrastructure.
Yeah, of course. Though I guarantee you, you are going to have more results in the future. This is not like one generation. Okay, you have like these guys, these 5 guys that are amazing, and they won everything. No, you are progressively, okay, getting results. But imagine, like 4 years ago, we were European champions. 4 years later, without Ricardinho, without Cardinal, we were European champions.
But that's the thing that we're talking. You need conditions for success to happen, and you cannot. And okay, in some way you need some success to drive the need for infrastructure.
But do you think that they had the money and they have the conditions that they have now when they started?
Of course not. But they probably had something.
It's a process.
When did they start to invest in? Were they champions of anything, European?
No, it's like this was like. This is also a vision of the president of the Portuguese Football Federation. This is a guy that was in FC Porto, and I'm not an FC Porto guy, but this was a guy that was really good, that has great vision, and he said, okay, we need to develop these other sports. This must not be always football, male football.
Right.
Because now, see, you are talking about female football, Benfica, Sporting, Braga was national champion. This was because of the good work of a president of a federation. This was not a guy that he could stay in there like a president, earn a lot of money, travel around, and don't do a shit like other guys did. No, this guy did a major development. Portugal was world champion in beach volleyball, beach football.
Yeah.
Portugal was world
Beach
champion
football,
in futsal. Portugal's European champion in football. This is a progressive, sustainable work.
Right.
Okay.
And that speaks to the importance of good leadership and good vision.
Completely.
In a way, is it
And
luck?
this is a guy. See, this is a guy, the president of the Portuguese Football Federation. He's a guy. I think he has a degree in management or something like that. And he was also before that. He was a basketball athlete.
Okay.
So sports was also really important in his
Yeah, we
development.
come back to the same. Like sports really changes people in a positive way. It gives them hard work. It teaches them how to behave with others.
Completely.
In this case, I still see that you work out a lot. Like when I go to play football in the gym, at the university, which is near the gym, I always find you there.
Yeah.
What drives you to still exercise today?
Exercise, it's like I had to stop the last 3 years because of a physical injury that I have on my hip. So I have to stop doing judo and doing kickboxing. So basically now I'm only doing not bodybuilding, but going to the gym and pumping some weight. And for me, the physical appearance is really important.
Appearance.
In this appearance. Case. I like to look into the mirror and to look and to like what I look into the mirror. And I like to dress myself up because it's like, trust me, it's really important. Some people look at me, oh, you are so fucking vain, always dressed up, always like a fucking pimp and shit like that.
That's man, jealousy.
But it's like this. The way this is like, for me, it's really important to start the day and looking at the mirror and looking like, fuck, I'm looking fucking great. I'm going to take the fucking world in my hands. And when you are fit, when you are proper, well dressed, and this builds confidence. And the way this image passes to the other people when you are standing tall in the street walking, and people look at you, and you're like. This is important.
And we completely like that self-esteem. If you build a self-esteem, you have the confidence to take on the world and to don't back down. You believe in yourself. You look good. You are good. So that gives you so much confidence.
This is simple. It's like when you are studying matters like leadership and shit like that. It's completely different when you have like a CEO or a guy that is in front of a human resources, a guy that is like short, skinny, or a guy that is like 6 foot tall, like 1 meter 90, 80 kilograms with a suit. You're like, fuck, this guy is the man, Okay, this guy, it doesn't matter being all tall and strong and shit, and if he doesn't know how to talk, okay? But if you have like 2 guys, a short guy, skinny, okay, that can talk, or you have like 190 meters tall, 100 kilograms guy that also talks, the figure is important. It imposes his respect.
I think that's one of the reasons Putin got so famous, because Putin was a badass guy.
Yeah,
he's
he's like a judo black belt. He's a 9 dan. The Japanese. How he earned the 6 dan? It was in Kodokan in Japan. The Japanese awarded him the 6 dan. It was like he was in the
to Putin.
Yeah, to Putin. It was like in
6 out of many.
No. Now he's like he's 8 dan. He's 8. Mm-hmm. You have 10 ranks. A dan is a rank. Okay, so the first 6 are awarded by your national federation. The first 5 ranks you are a black belt. The 6 from 6 to 8 you are a red and white belt. Usually after the 6, all of the other ranks, 7, 8, 9, 10, are awarded to contributions that you did to develop judo. So basically, it was a fifth dan. He went to Japan in an official travel, like a present in being president of Russia, and they said, no, I want to go to Kodokan to visit Kodokan, and the Japanese, okay, and they took him there, and Putin went there and said, no, give me a judogi, I want to practice, and they were and they give him a judogi, and they went there, do a little bit judo, and he even allowed a little girl to throw him.
I remember there was a video of that.
Can you imagine that? Yeah. So the Japanese guys came in with a belt and take it. This is your sixth dan. You are being awarded a sixth dan, because this simple trip to the Kodokan, in terms of image, publicity, everything, it was huge. He was awarded the eighth dan. Do you know when? In 2010, in 12, in the Olympic Games. Wow. After one thing, like he promotes a lot of development in sport in Russia. No. Putin can be a bad guy, you can call it whatever you want, but he supports a lot of the sports, of the development, especially martial arts. So he goes to train in the national team and shit like that. So in 2012, in the Olympic Games, when they were in the final of the last 100 kilograms, there was a judo guy from Russia in the final, and Putin was there to support him. So when that guy won the gold medal, you see the second most powerful man in the world getting up from the stands, clapping their hands, and going down into the combat area. Everybody like, wow. And he went there, he went into exactly like, wow, congratulating, like big hug. Yeah, everybody's like, wow. Can you imagine? All of the world was looking at that. Can you imagine what this did for judo? So the guys from the International Judo Federation, Mr. Putin is your eighth dan. And it was great because he contributed to the development and to the image of the sport.
It's a PR, but in this case, it was not about skill. It was just about what he did in terms of promoting the sport.
Trust me. You have guys that are Olympic champions and are still first dan.
What?
Yeah. The dans is like, because for you to change, you can get higher dan due to technical skills. Okay. Technical skills of basically you have to do the katas, the form, or you can get higher ranks because of the achievements in sport. You can imagine this. You have guys that are like 8, 9 dan, that are like basically almost on the top, but they never get any medals in competition. They know everything about judo. They did a lot to develop, okay? It doesn't mean... For you to be like 6 or 7 dan doesn't mean that you're like a badass in judo, that you kill everyone. No. What it means is that you devoted a lot of your life to the development of judo. Judo is really a part of your life.
Yeah, that's wonderful. But this is what we were talking, like Putin has a very strong leadership, like physical presence, because he's a really tough guy and he shows it, and he has a lot of confidence in himself.
Even being a short guy, but
size doesn't matter. It's just about how you project yourself to the outside.
Completely.
This is confidence. Like, you don't have to be tall, but you have to be confident. You need to be assertive in how you communicate, and clothes or how you look is part of the communication.
Completely. It's always like he goes like walking on his horse all butt naked, like with his shirtless, like, or going fishing. It's a complete badass. It shows an image of a strong man, of a strong leadership, and in Russia that speaks loud.
It always speaks loud. There's this famous painting by Napoleon Bonaparte, because it's Napoleon on a high horse when crossing the Alps. You know this painting?
I know that painting. I have that photo on. When I was on Tinder, now I'm not on Tinder. When I was on Tinder, I did a Photoshop I put my face in that painting of Napoleon.
Oh, yes. But that painting was not real. Because the crossing of the Alps was real, but the stories say that Napoleon was a super pussy. He was like on his horse all the time, shivering in cold.
Really?
Yeah, like being miserable in there. But then when he wanted to show the crossing, he asked him to be representing the triumphant horse, like high on the horse with the foot raised, like about to conquer the world. And it's the same thing. It's about how you communicate your image.
See, even then they didn't have Photoshop, but they were.
They had paintings, man. They paint exactly.
This is the one, and this made a lot of success on Tinder.
This is very well photoshopped. Yeah, I must say. These are Tinder tips.
Yeah, this was my last photo on my Tinder profile. In total, this was to show my funny side of the profile.
But it shows your confidence at the same time. Like
at
saying,
the same time, yeah.
I'm a bad boy, come to me, I will take care of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does your wife know that you were in Tinder? That you were such a success in Tinder?
Yeah, she was a victim of my success on Tinder.
Oh, perfect.
We met on Tinder. It was like love at first sight, or love at first swipe.
First swipe, yeah.
So we were both on Tinder, and we were a match. We start talking, and then we had a date. And on our fourth date, I was asking her to be my girlfriend.
Okay. Very nice. When was this in terms of year? And I will follow on.
This was in 2020 during the pandemic.
Okay.
This was I asked her to be my girlfriend on the 28th of December of 2020.
28. Oh man, you know these dates.
Yeah, I have to know it. Otherwise,
this
she'll beat the shit out of me.
Yeah, I think this is something that you inherit from the first relationships. Because guys don't really know this stuff.
It's really important. It's really important to remember the dates when you are with a girl. But a funny part of this is that she in the beginning she didn't remember the date, and I was me that was like I was the girl remembering all the you don't remember we had the first date on 12th December and I asked you out, I asked you as my girlfriend on the 28th, and she's like, shit, I need to remember this shit.
You're the perfect boyfriend that not only remembers the date, but you push for the date to be remembered.
Yeah.
Like what I wanted to talk about Tinder also is that when I almost never used Tinder in Braga, or even when I was studying 10 years ago, there was very few, like in the 2010s, 29, 2011.
But you didn't have Tinder back then.
When did it appear?
I think Tinder started in 2012. I don't want to.
Okay, around there. Let's say 12, 13, 14, like those early days. I remember the notion that people that were on Tinder were looked on the site. They had this impression that it's like the people that were so losers that they could not get a partner in normal, in quotes, paths. So like the discarded of society. Yeah. And there was a certain shame in admitting that either you were on Tinder or that you started dating on Tinder.
It's like, even now people, when you say that, today not so much, but people still look at you a little bit, oh, you were on Tinder. It's like, it was like when I was like 15 or 20 years old, like imagine like 20 or 30 years ago, and you were a little bit ashamed of saying that, oh, I met my girlfriend at a nightclub. Oh, you met your girlfriend at a nightclub.
She's a whore.
So like you didn't want to tell anybody that you met your girlfriend at a nightclub. And this is the same shit today. It's like if you say that you meet your girlfriend at a Tinder, many people will be ashamed. You know, I know people that met on Tinder and they don't say that. Where did you meet? Oh, I met her it was a friend of mine that introduced us. People are a little bit ashamed because we still have like this bad image of Tinder. It's like, Tinder is like imagine it's like when I tell people that I'm on that I was on Tinder and that I was paying to have it because I was a gold member. I paid to have the extra stuff on Tinder. They're like, "What? You are on Tinder? You are paying for Tinder?" I always used to say, "Fuck, this was the best spend money in my life," and they were like looking at me like, what the fuck are these guys saying? And then I explain them. And then a lot of people will look at me and say, that makes sense. Because like this, imagine that you are like 40 years old. Like when I started going to Tinder when I was like, this was in 2016. So it was 6 years ago. I was 39 years old. So you are 39. All of your friends are married. All of the people that you know, they have their groups. You know everybody in your job. So where are you going to get to meet new people?
Yeah, you don't have. That's the thing.
Right?
Like,
are you going to go to a nightclub or to a bar, like trying to pick up girls in their 20s, drunk? Oh, you are so pretty. Do you wanna go out? And you're like, how the fuck am I going to meet new people?
Yes.
So Tinder allows you to meet new people. It's like this. There are some kinky, stupid persons there. Of course there are.
Of course.
Like you have stupid people in the nightclub, in the bakery, in your office. It's the world that we live in. Okay, so this allows you to get to meet new people, and you have your profile. There are a lot of people that have fake profiles. That's life. Like you meet people that show you that, oh, I'm so this into this and this, and then when you get to know them really, you see that it's not that. Tinder is it's like the same thing. It's like a portrait of reality, and that way you can match with the person, and then it's only a way. It's a way to an end. Just
right.
that.
And that's the thing. Like, I don't think there's good and bad people by definition. There's just people, and people. Many are shit. Many are fucked up. But there's also many good people in there.
It's like this. Have you seen Tinder Swindler? The new documentary about that phony guy that was
no. But I will take note of that.
Take notice. You should see it. It's like everybody is talking about that Tinder Swindler. It's about a guy that he deceived women and he robbed them. It's like in millions. You know, he was living there like this. He was building like a Ponzi scheme to get money to women. You know, cheating on them and telling that he was like this son of this rich millionaire, but he was not, and he was scheming the money to take that kind of life.
Okay.
So I just brought this here to say something, because one of the girls she was robbing, she made loans in the bank around $2,500 to give him to him, because she thought that his life he was in danger. Mm-hmm. You understand everything when you see the documentary. And she was saying, no. After that, I got back on Tinder, because this had nothing to do with Tinder. I could meet this guy in real life, you know. I just had bad luck in having this dumb ass guy, you know. You can meet bad people in any place, anytime. And she was saying, like, with a smile, yes, of course I got back on Tinder dating people.
Yeah, because that's the thing. It addresses a human need for socialization and
completely.
For getting new contacts. So do you feel that nowadays this stigma that existed before has been overcome a bit? That
it's
people
overcome
are less
a little.
afraid?
Yeah, it's less. It's like I remember in 2016 when I was on Tinder and you were swiping in Braga or in Porto, and all of the pictures of the girls were like on her back, you know, you don't see the face. You remember that? And when you start seeing like faces, it was like a foreigner that was coming, and she was like in Porto, and you see, or a Brazilian girl, because they were like more open-minded. And back then in 2017, I started dating a girl, so I was 1 year out of Tinder. And when I got back on Tinder again, I start noticing that you have more and more Portuguese women putting their face, showing who they really are.
That's the thing. They also face the competition, especially now in Braga. In the last years, there's been a lot of Brazilians coming, and I'm not in the dating scene for a few years.
Yeah, but this is not a thing about competition. It's about normalizing. You know, they see that other girls put photos. So okay, if they have photos,
but that's in a way competition, because you set a new standard. You say all these people are doing this and they're being more successful than me, so it's kind of okay for me to do that too, even if you don't have like a competitive mindset.
I don't see it like in terms of competition. I see more in terms of normalizing. You see, seeing that the others are doing, so I'm going to do this. And it's like when I was saying to people like, oh, you pay for Tinder, and say, yeah, fuck yeah, you should also pay. And pay why? And I start explaining the advantages of paying to be a gold member. And when they understand the advantage, they were like, now I'm gold member. Now I'm doing more matches and stuff like that. You, of course.
But what are the advantages? Because you're a very good looking guy and you're a very nice guy. So I would not say that you would need gold Tinder.
Trust me. I have a good friend of mine. He was a model. He scores a lot of girls.
Can you imagine?
And he was also on Tinder. And he was also paying to be a gold member. Imagine this. And it was like what he was saying to me. You know, Monta, when I go out abroad and travel, I was like in Barcelona. I was alone. I was on Tinder. I met with a girl. Okay, we didn't have any chemistry, but I had some company during the weekend. I had someone to lunch, to go visit sometimes the chemistry is not there, but you have a company, you know.
Right.
It's like I used to say to my judo students, Tinder is not a fucking date. It's a dating app. You go there and you meet people. Eventually, you'll have chemistry. Eventually, you don't have chemistry. When I was in Tokyo in 2008, in 19, I did a match with an Italian girl. We didn't have any chemistry, but it was a fucking amazing date. We went out dinners, we went out partying, and in the end she said, okay, tomorrow you need to go this. And it was amazing. We still talk from time to time. Now she returned from Japan, and it was like, how are you? I said, everything's okay, and I have a boyfriend, stuff like that. And we still keep in touch. That doesn't mean that you have to go to bed and fuck her, or that she has to fuck her you, okay? It is what it is. And the advantage of having a Tinder Gold, of being a gold member, is that like you have 5 super likes. You can put your geographical center in another city. Imagine that you go to Tokyo. Okay, I know that I was going to Tokyo like in the end of June. So in the beginning of June, I put my center in Tokyo. So the app was thinking that I was in Tokyo, and I started swiping. Matching.
Start collecting the portfolio.
So when I arrived in Tokyo, okay, and I was going to stay there for 5 days, I already had everything scheduled with the Italian girl. And because sometimes you arrive in the place and you're like, do you want to go? Oh, I cannot go because I have this. I cannot change my schedule. This way, you can go, you can plan, okay, everything. And when you arrive at the country, everything is scheduled and you can go out on the date with a person.
So in this case, it's good when you have to move.
But you also have another advantage in terms of geographical center. Imagine like this, Braga. Braga is a small city. Okay, you know that.
Small conservative city, let's say.
It's like this. We are the 3rd city in Portugal, like with 120,000 people. But after a while, you know everybody.
Yes.
You know it. So after some swipes, this is that, and you don't have a lot of options.
You run out of contacts.
And what happens? Your geographical center in Porto, you can put your range to 50 kilometers to see Porto. And you see a lot of girls and you start doing likes. But what happened? They don't see you because they are like 50 kilometers away. And a girl is not going to put a range of 50 kilometers. They probably put like 10 kilometers because they are in Porto.
And they don't need. And there are girls. The girls just have so many matches.
So what happens? You will not be seen. When you change your geographical center to Porto, you are inside that range of 10 kilometers. Then your chances of matching with a girl improve. And this is why you pay. And then you can have 5 super likes. You understand the super like that you give.
And she sees like, this guy super liked you. He really likes you. Check him out.
And then you also can see who give you a like with Tinder Gold. So you have all of these advantages from Tinder Gold. Okay, so your chances, like, if I didn't have Tinder Gold, I would not be engaged with my fiancée because she put a like on my profile and her photo was on her back, she didn't show her face. And she was one of those profiles that on a regular day, I will swipe left.
Right.
But I swipe right because someone liked me. Let me see. I start looking at the photo and I was like, but then I saw something on the description.
Good back.
I saw something on the description and it was like bisexual and I was like, I like that.
Let's see what it goes.
And I swipe right.
Right.
See? And those are the advantages of Tinder Gold.
Right. But I would, I've been abroad and I've used it and I've seen a huge difference. I used it in Braga very, very shortly. Mm-hmm. And I came across that problem where you just run out of people because the context is so small and you kind of see your friend and it's a bit awkward sometimes when you see the people.
Always give them a super like to see. I know that you are here.
Okay. I'm watching you. And that's the thing, but abroad, I never needed it because abroad you always get so many matches. I don't know, it's because you are exotic. Because when you're a Portuguese guy abroad, it's this special guy.
Especially when you go to Nordic countries, they are all blonde, so they see a brunette guy and everything.
My girlfriend is from Finland, so you see where the story happened.
I understand. I've been to Lithuania. It was like a fucking Christmas tree.
Yes, yes. And you
them.
feel a girl maybe because you get more matches than you can handle.
Yeah, completely.
Because that's probably what girls feel. The girls probably swipe and they get a match. So they're you have 50 guys. Maybe One girl I was with in Coimbra, she was a foreigner. She was staying in Coimbra for 3 weeks. She told me she had 100 matches, and she showed me from 100 guys. I was like, when she told me that, I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
Because
I was the survivor of 100 guys. What the fuck is that?
Because a lot of the guys, and then they don't understand why sometimes they don't act lucky, because they don't even understand how the app works. If you swipe everything right, okay, you'll get down on the algorithm.
Yes.
And you don't, and the what you are saying to the algorithm is that you are only swiping everything. When you only swipe on certain profiles, the algorithm will adapt you and it will show these profiles. So if you are swiping on hot blondes, probably the algorithm will show you hot blondes. And if you're doing a lot of matches, I would say, this guy is getting successful, so I'm going to put you on the top of the list. And this is important. Why? Because when you go to a big city like Tokyo, if you are on the lower part of the algorithm, you will not be seen. It's like, imagine you start swiping. After a while, you stop swiping because it's boring off, because you are tired.
Yes.
So if you are like on the top 10, the girl will see you, so you have more possibilities to match. If you are in like 100th place,
yeah, she will never get even to see you in the beginning.
See?
Yeah,
This is why it's important for you to swipe correctly and to have a boost. A boost is something that the Tinder Gold will give you. That is basically will put you during half an hour on your prime time. If you are like, imagine prime time usually is around 9 o'clock. On prime time, you should boost yourself, use a boost. And during half an hour, your profile will be like in top 10. So if a girl turns on Tinder and swipes like 10 times, you'll show up for certain.
And you think this makes a difference in
Completely.
the end? Statistically, a difference.
When you activate the boost, you have much more matches. Trust me, I've been there.
Yeah. You mean in all cities, also including in Braga?
Yeah, even
also?
in Braga, because a lot of people will see you.
Right. Do you like Tinder addresses a fundamental human need, as we talk, the need for
relationship.
And for instance, you see this in Japan very clearly. Japan is a fucked up society, but
completely.
But they also showcase very clearly this need for affection. They are willing to pay people just to keep them company.
Yeah.
They don't have to. There's a guy that he said he was super awkward, that he could not adapt, but he just decided to set a business in which he would just be present with people, but he will not say a word. So like you pay a guy to come have lunch with you, but he's just there looking to the side, doesn't say one word. But people seek that because people prefer that to being alone.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like people don't want to be alone. And Tinder fulfills that because it gives us a mechanism to meet people. So in a way, it's very good, but it also changes the way we interact with each other.
Yeah.
And it changes the incentives in dating.
But it's not only Tinder, like Facebook, Instagram, all of these social media are changing the way we interact with people, the way we bond, the way we establish connections.
For sure, but Tinder specifically is dedicated to dating. Specific, because of course you in university before Tinder, I remember you had to add this girl on Facebook. Like you go out at night, tell me your Facebook, I'm gonna add you, and we're gonna start chatting tomorrow, and it builds from that. But with Tinder, you have a dedicated platform just for dating. So in one way, it gives people what they're looking for, but in another way, it creates a super stimulus in which people are seen as discardable. Like you're just not a person. Before you are a person, you are a representation of a person through a picture. And you can be discarded and you can just be really unimportant very fast. You just have a bad picture, left. You are forgotten. You go to the bottom of the algorithm. And it teaches you how to behave in a way. Teaches you how to promote yourself to appear higher on the algorithm. Do you think that this is a net positive for society? It's
like this. Sometimes you take some behavior that you have on social media to your real life, and that can be tricky, the way we interact, okay? And sometimes it's like this. If you have a lot of success sometimes on Tinder or matching on Tinder, probably if you meet someone on the real life, you probably, if she doesn't fit your profile or something that you think that you want, you probably say, fuck, I don't need you. I have here people online waiting for me.
Exactly. Especially, okay, that can happen with girls, but statistically, that can happen with guys, but statistically, girls have a lot more options. Let's put it this way. They have a lot more to select from. So what is the incentive for a girl to dedicate time to understand you, or for a guy also, or what is the incentive for a person to understand the other, to really understand him or her as a human being, when he or she can just say, fuck it, you're not fun enough in these 10 minutes of attention I give you. I'm just going to check my other options.
What can I tell?
Because that happens also in practice, so it changes our behavior and our mindset.
Yeah, because like this, we are in a society that it's more and more. It's about like it's not even about the 10 minutes. It's a lot about those seconds and those first seconds, and about the impression that you can provoke in the other person. It's like even now, I see this with the DJs. It's like the DJs are putting a music, and the music is like 5 minutes, and you have guys like, change the music, put another one. It's like people want things faster and faster and faster and faster. People are like getting tedious when they don't have what they want. And sometimes this can be a threat to a relationship, because people want more, and they know that they can get it online. I don't know if this goes towards what you were asking, but I think this behavior online can be a little bit tricky to the regular or conceptual relation that you have in peer-to-peer, when you are with a person in local.
Yeah, there are many ways to see it. And one way is like a general hyper-stimuli of society, and it happens in many things, like you said. Like, for instance, social media is an hyper-stimulus to communication, because it gives you the likes, it gives you the notification, and not normally how people communicate through times. Like, people communicate by sitting, by talking slowly, discussing ideas, not just by sharing this snippet of information in a very short, or like in Twitter that you have 140 characters that you have to communicate very quickly, or like you have porn that is an hyper stimulus of a real sex. That's not what happens. And you have Tinder also as a hyper stimulus of what dating is, because dating is taking time to understand the other partner. Or
used to be dating, or used to be like that.
Used to be.
Because even now you see a lot like there is something that sometimes is not easy to deal with. It's rejection.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And one thing is being rejected online, and you can be like talking like with someone in 5 minutes, and then you are rejected, but you have others there. But being rejected in person, it's a lot difficult to handle, and it's a little bit more painful. And these like relationships online can be more comfortable for the other person on the other side, especially when you can build a fake profile, and you can be like, oh, I'm this guy that do this and this and that and that, and in reality you are not that person, but it's really comfortable, and you can live like that, and you have a lot of people doing catfish and shit.
But like then when you meet, they know your true side. But is that like too late for them because you already met, so it's like some success in a way? Or do you think they gain from that? What do they gain?
But it's like this. Many people, from what I see, and if you see catfish on MTV, many people, they try to avoid to meet. You know, they live in this cyber bubble. They live in this cyber bubble, and they avoid physical contact.
So what's the point if you're on Tinder and if you're catfishing people and then you don't want to meet? Just for ego?
For ego, for comfort, for like, it's like that thing. Oh, I know I can have her, that I can have you. I talk to you. Trust me, this happened. It's like this. Imagine like this. You are in your house and you are communicating. You are not feeling lonely. You have someone that you can talk.
Okay, that still seems like a waste of time.
Yeah, it's like this. For us, it can be, especially for a guy like me from older generation. But for these younger kids, that only know this reality. And it's like this. It's like sometimes it's easier to live on the cyber world and on the cyber reality because you don't have to face the problems. And I have a personal case years ago of someone that committed suicide, and it was something like this. It was a kid, and he was bullied, and he was a little bit fat, and it was easier for him to live in the video game world where he was like this fucking hero, he has this character, but then in real life it sucked.
Yes.
And he eventually jumped out of a balcony. See?
Yes.
Because the real life, it's not always pretty. It can be ugly. And living in that shell, at least for a while, okay, I'm not saying that people live like for 10 years, but a lot of people live like 2-3 years living those lying relationships, and you see a lot of that in catfish. It can work for you.
I understand it when it's in the gaming, because I've spent a lot of my life gaming, a lot more than I should. And one game that I played a lot was World of Warcraft. That is maybe one of the best games ever made, and it's so immersive. But you come across a lot of people in that game where you really have this distinction that you said, like they are heroes in game. They are the badass, they have all the gear, they have all the epics, they show off, people admire them. But then in real life, there were people usually on life support, people with disabilities, with government money. They just play 15 hours a day, and they are losers by normal standards in real life. But then in games, they were fucking heroes, and that opened my eyes to the benefits of having a reality to escape to from your real life. But overall, like, I think you are in a good position because you're a bit older than me. So you dated a lot in a pre-Tinder context, and you dated also in a Tinder context. So would you say that nowadays, is it easier to get a date and to maybe enter in a relationship?
Yeah.
And are the relationships as meaningful as they were back then?
Of course. Yeah, because it's like this. Remember, Tinder, Instagram, Facebook are just a way to an end. Okay, people. If you ask me if people are different today from it was 20 years ago, of course. Like people from 20 years ago were different from 40 years ago. You know, humanity has evolved, society has evolved, so everything is different. You have different objects, different objectives in life as a society.
I was asking if like things
Facebook,
are so meaningful.
Instagram, social media changed the way we connect, we bond, we have relationships. Now, if you ask me if my relationship today is different from a relationship 20 years ago, of course it is. 20 years ago, I was a dumbass kid. Now I'm a full-grown man. You know, I don't do the same mistakes that I did. Okay? But if you are going to ask me if the social media change the way I bond with people? No. For me, it's just a way to bond. Okay, it's just it's Tinder, Facebook, Instagram. For me, it's just the foot on the door.
Right. So when you actually enter the door, it's the same.
Yeah, because it's this. I'm talking by myself, by my example. When I do a match, I talk a little bit. I try to check out Instagram to see if the person is real, or try to evaluate the profile of the person because of the photos, because photos can tell you a lot about who you are. Yes. Even if you don't talk, if you think that you are not showing something, you are, trust me, you're showing a lot of things. And I try, like, after like talking a little bit, let's have dinner. I want to be with you in person. I'm not one of the guys that are talking to you like 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. But you have people like that.
Oh, yes. And in Portugal, like you have many people like that. Because in Portugal, there was this notion, at least a few years ago, that if you go out on the first date and you have sex on the first date, you're a slut.
You're a slut.
So, no, you have to make sure in their head that the guy is interested and make him prove that he's not superficial.
Protocol, yeah.
And that was very fucked up, I think.
Yeah. My friend, when I was 15 and I came to Braga, okay, if you want to have sex with a girl, first you have to date her like for 1 or 2 years. When you were a teenager...
Oh, but that's a teenager. That's normal.
Not now. Now you're on 15, 16, you are having sex. Trust me. I know what I'm talking about.
But I don't know if that's good if you want to like incentivize 15 years old.
I'm not saying it's good. I'm telling you what is happening now. You know, sex like this. Let's establish something. You should normalize sex. Sex should not be like, because we have like this canon of religion, like, no, you should only have sex when you are going to get married, when you're married, because you have to have kids. No. This was we were programmed. We have software. And we are hardware. So you have to choose what you want to put on your hardware. And back then was like this. If you want to have sex, okay, and we had guys like back when you were in school, and you know that they were having sex, and we were like, "Fuck, I'm a fucking virgin, just walking off all day."
Like the
because, but these guys, they were having sex because they were dating the same girl like for 2 years.
Yeah.
2 years, and you were like saying, "Oh, I want to go to university because they fucked a lot and shit like that." And it was not like that, but. When you are grown up, you are like 20, 21, and life is different. So now everything is different. You know, sex start being that forbidden thing. And if you are a girl, and if you have like 2 or 3 guys, you probably a guy who would not want anything to do with you.
Yeah.
That changed.
This was part a lot of the Catholic education
Of
that
course.
put like this stigma on women, especially like if
yeah.
you date many guys, if you have sex, you're a
Of course,
slut,
you have like
unworthy.
You have like this stupid image, like, oh, you went to bed with 5 guys, you're a fucking slut.
Yeah,
you went to bed with 10 girls, oh, you're a fucking stallion.
Yeah.
It's like it's bullshit, you know. It's like,
Yes.
and the stupid thing is like this mentality that we had, okay, like 30 years ago, we still have it today. I was like, when I was a judo coach, and I was like with some guys that you knew, and we were like this. This is one of the things that I really miss in judo. It's like the locker room talk that I had with the kids, and they're like, "Oh, this girl is a slut," and I was like, "Why the fuck are you saying that? Yeah. Why the fuck are you being such a fucking dumbass? You know, just because she chooses to go with other guy with not to bet she's a slut, so you're a fucking slut also because you went to bed with 2 or 3 girls." Come on, grow up, man.
And that's a double standard. Like,
fuck?
she's a slut for going with fathers, but if she went to bed with us, she will be an angel.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like, it's
but
important.
we still have this fucking dumbass mentality, like this patriarch society where women, oh, you are a good girl, you should do this. No, but no. If I wash the dishes, I'm just a great guy. Come on.
I think it comes from the fact that guys traditionally, or males traditionally, not only in the human species, but in many species, they have to work for the females.
Yeah.
And the females just have to choose the male. So there's this stigma that in our race or in our species, it translates into males are shats and badass if they get the females, and the females are like sluts if they sleep with a lot of males, which is nonsense.
Completely.
And like before Christianity, sex was very liberal. And even in the nobles' houses, you had the paintings of like guys with huge dicks. And then the Catholics came, they're like, oh, this cannot be, this is a scandal, they have dicks on paintings, what is this? And they erased everything.
Of course.
But this is supernatural. Like, this has been so natural for so long.
Like this, if you go to the Nordic societies, before they were like, they don't have the influence of the Catholic religion is not that big in Nordic society.
Yeah.
Sex is something natural, you know. It's like
Yes.
you could see in the Vikings that the women they fight alongside the men, and they choose the men inside the tribe. The guys they share women, and the women share the men. It's like, it was like the software. It's like the fucking software.
Yeah. And I see that, well, I told him my girlfriend is from Finland, and she told me that in high school they have a lot of, not only in high school, but Finnish culture is a huge habit of going to sauna.
Mm-hmm.
And
they all naked in sauna.
They get naked and go to sauna, yes. When she told me that she would go to sauna naked with her high school friends as part of high school trips. And hearing that, I was like, what the fuck? In high school, where the hormones are peaking, you just want to fuck, and you see some boobs and you get hard. And you go to sauna naked with your friends. Like, for me, that would be very hard. But for her, it was supernatural. It was like, okay, this is really, as you said, this software, this is what our culture programs us to.
Of course. It's like if you never seen a naked girl, you're like, naked. If you see boobs, man, this is like in the side note is I'm just cracking a joke, but this was real. I remember George Michael saying that she got tired of women during the WEM period that he got.
The what?
George Michael.
Which period?
When he was on WEM. His band that was saying, "Wake me up before you go."
Okay.
So he said like, "Oh, I got tired of women. In that I had so many women that I got tired of women." But it's like just to settle a point. It's like when I was with volleyball. The first time that I was with volleyball, I was like all these pretty girls with ass. I was like, "Oh fuck that ass! Oh that ass!" After a while, you don't even look. Trust me, I'm being honest. You don't even look to this because it's ass. SS, you normalize that. You don't look it like. But if you've never seen it, of course you're like, oh, what an ass.
So these are confessions of a king that is wealthy and has all the ass in the world. Is very satisfied.
No, but
it's true. Yeah,
it's true.
True.
It's like.
Yeah, man, it's been almost 3 hours already. It's been a blast. The time has flown.
It was great. It was really great talking about all of this stuff. It's one of the good things about talking about friends is like we revisit old places. We got these big smiles about things that we lived, that we experienced. This is one of the really good things about in loco interaction.
I think it's pretty different. You see the voice, you see the presence, you see the movement, and it's not the same digital.
No, trust me. It's like, this is why a word of advice. Every time that you communicate online, especially on Tinder, if you crack a code joke or something, please put emojis. Emojis can be very useful in the conversation because sometimes you are saying something just to crack a joke or you're just trying to say something funny, but the person will not see your face, will not hear the tone of your voice, and sometimes you can get into trouble. So use emojis. Word of advice from a Tinder king.
Okay, man. Thank you so much. It has been a blast to have you here. It has been a great fun to get to know you better. Yeah, thank you so much, and see you another time.
Okay, see you.
Bye, everyone.